Good
Whoever
evening.
has to come in and do votes.
Call the April 15th tax day
Oh, that's right, I knew I.
FinCom meeting to order. Would like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is awesome. We have no technical issues like Monday.
I was informed that Norton Media said that was a one-off and it won't happen again.
Let's write that down.
We'll see.
That's awesome. Let's see. Is missing
Kevin?
Kevin and Steve is not here until 7:30. So, with that said,
Sure, so happy to get into the budget. Just as a preliminary matter, I think last time we talked about using some of the health insurance money to help out with the budget this year. Upon consultation with the fire chief, we decided it's probably appropriate to use another 100,000 from ambulance receipts. So instead of 1.1, 1.2, so that's 100,000 that we could use for his firefighter. So instead of 11 firefighters, it would cover 12 firefighters out of the ambulance reserve, and we do feel that the revenue is sufficient to make that the baseline going forward, in addition to ambulances and fire trucks. So that would cover the fire position, correct me if I'm getting this wrong.
No, yep.
And then the 150 we talked about from health insurance would go for a police officer and the schools.
So,
100 for police, 50 for schools, if I remember.
That's right.
Okay.
And so, I mean, schools had, I won't speak for schools, but they're happy to get 50,000, I'm sure.
Okay. Any questions? Zach?
So would that mean we would be looking, it's June 30th, right, is the fiscal year? So you'll be looking to get somebody in the position by then, chief?
Yeah, I
To
would
start
say,
July 1st, is that?
yeah, if possible, yes, as soon
Okay.
as soon as possible.
The same thing with the police department, to get that, start working on that position?
We have to, look at academies and then time it right.
I know,
but-
it takes forever, that's why I'm asking.
But they're
Yeah.
open positions
It takes
now,
forever.
Mark, right?
Unless you can find somebody experienced, that you can,
That would be
that's
awesome.
from a different,
I mean,
municipality. I know every surrounding community seems to be passing overrides, so they're probably not gonna go through, so they have some available people.
Anybody else? No. I'm gonna have to sit over there.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
you know I have a question. The 150,000, so this is, money that you said was saved with health insurance because you negotiated a new contract with our health insurance provider. So, and we're using this, is this considered a one-time fund though? Like, or do we foresee next year that health insurance could go up significantly, and then what are we gonna do with that? You know what I mean?
so I'm working on the forecast as the committee suggested, and hopefully I'll have that by our next meeting in 2 weeks from now after school vacation week for the children. Yes, I think that would be sustainable
Okay,
because it's, if we expand the opt-out program and expand the HSA program, I see it even getting better, much, much better, like hundreds of thousands of dollars better, optimistically speaking.
cool, great.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
Mark, just to try to round out the discussion from the other night, when the schools were in, they were looking at, an additional 400,000 would really make them weather this next year where we're cutting back on some of the stuff. You're giving 50 towards the school out of the insurance. What would be the drastic side of potential doing 350 out of the free cash and going to 1950 of free cash instead of 16? And it's still a decent reduction in the free cash, and
Oh, I heard that school said that they were happy with the budget.
It's
a
funded?
lot more.
Well, maybe happy is overstating it.
Maybe.
But, I thought like able to do it without layoffs,
They,
but,
they needed like 400.
I thought they needed 400 more, Mark.
Yeah.
so, I mean, free cash doesn't have another 350, so
What is the balance?
preliminarily about 100,000.
Really?
It was a big snow and ice year. And there's 200,000 recommended for accumulated absences trust. Because we have at least 2 buyouts next fiscal year, we had 2 buyouts this fiscal year. But we're currently negotiating to stop the bleeding with buyouts, and the unions seem to be receptive, so in the future, we can hopefully prevent 6-figure buyouts from being a regular thing.
So, I don't wanna derail the agenda too much here.
This might be next meeting's discussion, but
So, you had said that there was a pool of money set aside, you didn't wanna give the number, so I respect that. Set aside because contracts were still in play in various areas. Are we projecting all that pool to disappear, or is there excess to again hit the schools? Cause again, their contract, I don't have it open, well, I do have it open. $2 million. Contract went up, or salaries went up, 2 million.
yeah, we're not even close to that.
Where-
We're looking at town side raises.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know, we try to, I think we try to cover those costs in everybody else's budget, and we're like not even close in theirs, so.
So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul,
I think
well,
Peter's dead.
right.
He's here.
And we'll continue to,
Welcome to Norton.
I mean, at the last 2 meetings, we added 150 and 100. We'll see what the finance gods say for next meeting. I'll try my best. I don't wanna
Okay,
overpromise and underdeliver.
yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair, I saw that the House Ways and Means came out with their projections today to do 160 per pupil. So that would up the Chapter 70 funds. I know sometimes we've used that number as our starting estimate to budget from there as opposed to the governor's budget. Would that be an option?
It's certainly an option. It's just a risky game because the House and then the Senate and then the governor, like you don't, it's like the stock market, trying to target the ups and downs. I also heard UGA went down, so it might have been a net decrease instead of a net increase. So I'll look at that and bring that back next meeting. It's certainly possible.
Chair,
I don't know who said that, but yep,
Zach.
Zach?
down here at the kids' table. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, I have all the meeting materials at home and I looked through them, but I thought in your presentation originally that we were sitting around 1.6 million free cash. And now we're saying we don't have 100,000. I'm a little confused the way that went.
So 1.6 is included in the budget, so I'm already including that, so 1.7.
So there's no free cash basically, you use 100% of all the free cash, other than $100,000.
Yeah, like 2 million went to last year's budget, 1.6 million is going to this year's budget. Yeah, all the free cash has been going to budgets, which is not a sustainable
So I
practice.
thought for this current fiscal year right now that we're finishing up, then we had almost 6 million total.
4.6 million.
4.6 was that coming out?
and then I went for budget supplements, I went to pay back the 500,000 that we borrowed from stabilization, and 1.6, correct, is going to this year's budget.
Mark, can we get like a write-up of that? Just
Yeah,
sure.
I'm trying to
spreadsheet would be
do
great.
the numbers in my head.
Hang on a sec, I was just jotting this down before I came, so maybe I can give you more specific right
Okay.
now. But I can certainly give it to you in writing after. So I had 4.6 was the certified free cash. Then October town meeting, we spent 2.4 million of that. And that was for budget supplements and stabilization repay. So 4.6 minus 2.4 minus 1.6 for this coming up budget. Snow and ice deficit, we budgeted 80,000 for snow and ice, so above the 80,000, we spent 288,000 and change.
So it's
Now, we're gonna
368.
get some funds back from that, from the feds, is that pending?
Potentially, but, I'm sorry,
You good?
potentially, but a fraction. And generally speaking, I know from experience, it doesn't come to us for another year, at least.
They told me 8 to 12 months, meeting with NEMA, and then during another one, they said it could be several years. So
So the jury's
somewhere
out.
between 8 months and several years.
Do you remember the total we asked for?
It was, I believe it was 154,000. If they approve it, that the presidential disaster declaration did get approved, so that's obviously good news. We met the thresholds for that. Then it's whatever they approve, you have to give them all the backup for it, and we get 75% of that
Yeah.
if, if everything checks out. With that being said, we can write off some of the emergency management volunteer hours to help offset that 25%, so we might be able to get it up into like maybe the low 80s or something like that. But again, I have no definitive timeline for you on that. And even the snow removal was like 48 hours that they allowed, so you had to pick like the worst or the busiest 48 hours.
So even
and
though the
submit-
storm went
submit
on for
that.
6 or 7 days of
Yeah.
clearing, you're only allowed
There's still no
48 hours.
guarantees, Chief.
Correct, yeah,
We're still
Yeah.
waiting on the extra tornado.
yeah.
Guaranteed money.
We've done reimbursements for federal stuff before that took, 16, 17 months to get,
Yeah.
honestly.
Be a
Yeah.
bonus in a couple of years.
Right, yeah, for sure, yeah.
So the last thing was minus 200 for accumulated absences brings it to roughly 100,000 remaining in free cash.
Goes quick.
Mr. Chair.
Paul?
So Mark, we're gonna have to vote to transfer from free cash for the snow and ice. What about reserve fund? Should we tap into that for any of the snow and ice? Could we use that for some of the expenses as well?
I mean, we could do anything, with reserve, I mean, it was a once in a lifetime year, so that's not like out of the question. I don't think it's a good practice, since we did last year just borrow 500 from the reserve funds and then pay it back in the fall, then we're kinda just putting.
That was stabilization though, right?
We're
I was
talking
talking about our
FinCom,
reserve.
FinCom reserve.
Our FinCom reserve.
Oh,
You
I
know,
haven't-
something to that, Paul?
Stabilization I'd be
I don't
fine
know,
with
can we?
using as well for a.
Cause
for
usually
the snow.
reserve goes back to free cash if you don't spend it. I've never seen it. I don't see why we couldn't put it for next year's budget. I've always just seen it go to next year's free cash.
No, for these one-time expenses.
Oh, use it for
I
snow and
would
ice, you
think,
mean?
Yeah.
Right, the deficit. Some of it.
I would prefer to use stabilization or reserve funds for these one-time. I mean, hopefully, next year we could have blizzards as well.
John?
Excuse me, I apologize for interrupting. I just want to make sure that you guys are locked into afterwards, so it can stay open in case anybody needs to come into this meeting.
Yeah, we got it, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, thank you, have a good night.
See ya.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Certainly an option.
I thought he was gonna tell us the other room was available. We're not.
We might need some of those reserve funds just for electricity or,
Unexpected bills.
right, not a large amount. We have, what, 160, 140 in there? I would guess maybe we would need 20 or 40. But, if there are no other general questions, we can get to the heart of tonight's meeting. If that's okay, Mr. Chair?
It's awesome.
So, pleased to present, after long-awaited charter change about 5 years ago, where town meeting said we need a DPW director, we made it happen. And we couldn't be more pleased. We're buckling down on expenses, on organization, on everything. We're targeting new growth, which will help tremendously. We're not counting on it, but if new growth happens, which is the plan, it's gonna help everything exponentially, get us out of where we are and get us where we need to be faster. But Justin Chicka comes from New Bedford, and there's not an aspect of public work that he hasn't seen, been exposed to, handled, and we're very privileged to have him.
Thank you. So, good evening. As Mark said, I took over about 15 weeks ago maybe, first week of January. Kind of hit the ground running, and I think it paid off dividends during the snow, and you know, I think my first 3 weeks here, we had 40-something inches of snow, so it was kind of, you know, right into the fire. I've sat down with all the budgets that I'm gonna present tonight. I know I have a few here to talk about. I want to say that, you know, on the surface, you've got a fine group of people working here in Norton. I think everybody wants to see progress and see money well spent. So the support I've received from not only Town Hall and the Select Board, but the staff has been tremendous, and it's much appreciated. So thank you for having me. If you don't mind, we'll start with the highway budget, I believe, which for the most part was level funded. You'll see a couple of increases from last year's budget, accounting for contractual raises under services. Some money was moved around, such as telecommunications, and we took some money from one line item and gave it to another line item. But overall, I believe the budget went up by $50,000 from the previous year.
And if I may, that's because Hicks Fund is pitching in
Yep.
for the budget.
Hicks Fund is pitching in. Their gave us a cemetery employee this year and some of the equipment that we needed to run cemeteries. So for the most part, we're gonna attempt to move along next year with a level fund. Now, the way I see it again, and I know everybody comes to you and says the same thing, but that's not sustainable. The infrastructure that this town is taking on is increasing. I see a face I know well, Sandy, and it just brings to mind like the rail trail and some of these items that are great for the town, but they take on maintenance costs associated with that. So it's just something to keep in mind moving forward, that you're gonna see some of these budgets, especially in the highway department, increasing over the years, or the next few years, based on infrastructural needs.
If I may, repairs to private ways. We've always heard that, you know, we needed the past money so that police, fire, and whatnot, you know, doesn't, you know, poor roads don't damage that equipment. So why are we going from 11, even though it doesn't appear we've spent that much, down to 1?
Yep, so last year's 11, I guess, was allocated specifically for King Philip and Charlotte, is Charlotte, correct?
Right.
That was a one-time increase, if you notice, years past it had been $1,000. I was told the select board requested extra money be added to that, but there's still limited work that we're allowed to do in private way per legalities and legislature, so, we're putting more time into, especially King Philip, into pothole repairs, into doing minimal grading, not to cross that line to what is, emergency repairs compared to what is, bringing this back up to the level that some people would like to see. So, we think that bringing that back down to $1,000, makes more sense.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
Mark, I know you just sent a new year-to-date, totals email, but, the one that you had sent earlier this month, it said you had spent 2,100 on the repairs to private ways, so over that 1,000. Do you anticipate spending
For this
more?
year?
Yeah.
We-
As of
It's the
April
same
2nd.
report that I sent before, I just sent it again.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if it was updated or changed, you changed anything.
I will tell you that number will go up. We're doing, we're hot and heavy into pothole repair right now. There's not a day that goes on that the machine's not out. We've been kind of heading to those private ways later in the day when we've gotten some of the other roads done, so there will be an increase in that as the year goes on
But you still feel comfortable with just budgeting 1,000?
for next year, yes.
Zach, maybe?
So what is the official policy on the private ways? What are we doing? I think you're doing some pothole repairs. Are we plowing them?
We plow straight down the middle for
On all-
emergency vehicles on all private ways. Straight down the middle.
And that's pretty much it.
That's for the emergency vehicles to get through.
And how many private ways are there in town? Do you know offhand?
I did just give
There
you
were
that number.
15 or 16?
Because there's one near me, and you guys have put up a sign long before your time, and this private way, no town services will be provided. That's a little different than no town services, but.
Yeah, I was here for the storms and I know we plowed down the middle.
And we actually had to plow
Much
that
to a lot of
someone-
people's chagrin.
Yeah, there was like an emergency call too, and like firefighters had to shovel people's walkways like, to get there. like-
Some of the driveway that's pretty darn close to a quarter mile long for a cardiac arrest call, yeah.
So you gotta do it.
You're in the middle of it.
When it comes to emergency, if chief calls us and says, we need to get in this area, as we did on that particular call, we'll send somebody to assist.
Yeah, with a loader.
Thank you.
Next up. Justin. Again, the next, I think, budget is snow, correct?
Yes.
I'm not sure there's a lot to
First
talk.
was highway, then snow.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a lot to talk about, but, again, we're level funding that at the $80,000. We sincerely hope this year was one-off, sincerely hope that. But as Mark said, we surpassed that 80,000 by 288,000, I believe, for a total of 300 and something thousand. And again, I am communicating with other towns and cities, and it's incredible that we only spent 300 and something thousand dollars this year. It's kudos to the guys that were out there doing that plowing, and we pre-salt, we post-salt, a lot of thought and goes into that process, and whether we're gonna pre-salt or we're gonna post-salt, depending on what the weather patterns are coming up later on in the week, or what the storm's gonna do after the storm passes. So we really try to manage it from a public safety standpoint first, but also a budgetary standpoint, following that, so. Any questions on that?
Just one, on the I noticed in Mansfield next door, they chemically treat the roads prior to,
We did a
and
New
I think
Bedford.
Easton's doing it too.
We did a New Bedford also.
Is that
It's,
not,
it's a good process, but for us to turn to that process now, to have to go out and buy the equipment to do that, doesn't make any sense at all. We buy, so what that is what they call MAG, magnesium chloride. We buy our salt pre-mixed with the MAG, so it's just a different method. I'm not saying that the pre-treating with the liquid MAG doesn't work, because it works well.
cost-wise,
But cost-wise, it's more expensive, more equipment, more time on the roads.
Thank you. Mr. Chair? I don't wanna skip ahead, but I know we got the article about the sidewalk snow removal, but we're funding snow and ice at the same level. Shouldn't we see some cost savings in this from that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, that $80,000 for a snow season is not a lot of money.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And we have about a mile of sidewalks.
I'm sorry, if I might add to that, you would definitely see a cost savings in the overall, the $328,000 that we spent this year. But the $80,000 budget to turn back, say, $10,000, I don't think that's prudent.
Okay. I guess maybe we can talk more.
And I'll explain more when we get to that.
It's been at 80,000 for years because it's the only account that you
deficit
can
spend?
deficit
You,
spend.
correct. And if you do drop it, if you were to drop that fund, you cannot deficit spend next year.
Or
And-
ever again, yeah.
And I don't know about ever again, but I can speak for the city of New Bedford did that last year where they dropped it by $300,000 or $400,000, and now you cannot deficit spend it. So now you have to spend it out of your highway budget.
And I believe if you increase it, you can't reduce it.
Right.
So that's why we've left it level for.
Leave it alone, leave it
As long
alone.
as been, as long as I've been on this committee.
Plan on that fund off to the side, because chances are, honestly, chances of us making an $80,000 budget, I think you probably did it last year when we had one storm, but chances are very slim, just in salt alone. Forget the snowfall, right? Just trying to treat ice.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Next,
Next up is.
Justin.
Facilities.
yep. So facilities, again, I believe we level funded except for two line items, which is electricity and fuel, which I'm, working with Mark. We're well over budget this year. I think it's a point of, you had a brand new building. People were unsure of what the electric and heating costs were gonna be. I know we surpassed the budget amount well before I even got here. And I went over the numbers with you a couple of weeks ago. I think we were projected to go over by almost 200,000, Mark, is that correct?
We're predicted to go over a little bit in facilities, just because of the new construction. 'Cause
Not 200,000, I'm sorry,
No, not 200, like 20.
20,000.
Because of the new town hall and the senior center funding, we kind of need to rearrange the electricity accounts to be more effective. So, I mean, there are some solar credits that maybe we could deploy a little more effectively, and then hopefully we can do that going forward. We're discussing with the companies to
Yeah.
try to do that.
Working on consolidating those
But
credits.
these numbers reflect the actuals from this year, which are the best indicator of what next year will be.
I was gonna ask about solar, so where, it sounds like the credits are all over the place. So where are they? Like, why isn't it consolidated?
That's an excellent question.
That's an excellent question, but
I
you
like
also have, I'm sorry, but you also have a ton of accounts here in town. So, one thing that Eversource isn't good about is consolidating accounts. So Christie might even answer that, like, we had something like 25 electric accounts here in town.
So there's so many accounts, and we're still paying for the landfill, which is also generating electricity. And the school, through, what was it, Train, is also generating excess electricity. I mean, the amount of credits we have, we shouldn't really be paying electric bills moving forward. But
For a little while.
but the maze that we're dealing with Constellation, National Greed, that sounds Freudian, but it's true.
Yeah, Yep.
But we have to get all these accounts aligned with the credits, and then going forward, either we could request a refund or have no utility bill for X years. But that's in the works, but it's not an easy thing to do, but we've literally been in contact with them every day for the past 60 days. I kid you not, I can share the log. We're trying. This
So-
is something we need to do.
Worst case scenario though, we're not losing anything, we're just, through nobody's fault, we're just so disorganized that we're not gonna be able to reap any benefits
You will.
currently.
I mean, that's not how I would have phrased it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But,
I don't either. I don't know if I agree with that
but
statement.
they're not being allocated as efficiently as they could be, and will be in the future.
Okay.
And this is just town hall. So this isn't schools, this isn't, maybe COA, right?
I'm talking globally.
Yeah, so all those credits are out there for everybody else. And I know that Mark's office, and that was one thing that he requested that I look into with him, is bringing those credits together and getting it on one bill so that we can somehow figure out, the money's out there, how can we use it?
Yeah, I'm just concerned that we're gonna come to a day in 6 months going, you know, here's what we got, here's what we lost because of being disorganized.
No,
So, it's out there, we just need
and it
to,
doesn't expire.
okay,
No, solar credits don't expire. You have them on your home, you move, you sell your house, you're allowed to keep them. We're gonna move forward and bring them together.
awesome.
So it's not net metering?
Nope.
Paula?
Municipal building, so remind me, this is this town hall and our new, community senior center. What about the former council on
And highway.
aging and the highway? What about our former
Weatherized.
Yeah,
aging?
we're still paying on,
We're still paying for that building.
keep the heat on, not, keep it
What's
from
the plan?
freezing.
The going plan is to get a survey, get a easement from National Grid, and sell it.
So, okay. Yeah, 'cause I
It's
was
probably worth $500,000.
going through the minutes, reminded me the last we talked about that building 2 years ago, there was, units had mentioned, some nonprofit that was interested in taking that over, but I thought it was
I mean, I got a
falling
call
through.
last week from the Y. People also want to store things for C2. The Toys for Kids drive, it's about the children, no.
It'd be good if we could generate some revenue.
Yeah, the
Would
building's
constantly
not.
right
The
here.
building is not in good shape.
Yeah, but they'll, whoever buys it can knock it down and do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's the land that's
the
worth
land.
the most,
Yes,
given its location.
anyway, I was curious, okay, thanks.
We have that school building behind there too, that, been working with Jen.
The garage.
The garage or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd call that a building.
The garage.
It's a
Yeah,
garage.
Garage.
It's a structure.
Today.
We own it.
Today.
Schools own it, yeah. More snow?
One good hurricane and it's,
I don't know if they own it or if they work out of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
They store their
They store their lawn equipment. and
equipment, yeah.
We've been working or talking with Jen to kind of move that aspect of it out. And maybe DPW at some point take over the groundskeeping of the grounds. Maybe the schools continue doing the athletic field for the children, but we take over the grounds and cutting grass and snow removal. So we're kind of working to figure out how we could make that work. And part of that was what we would demolish that building and where could we house the equipment and that kind of thing. so stay tuned.
And plowing too, did you mention that?
I said plowing, yes,
Plowing and mowing,
my least,
looking for efficiencies.
my
Fun
least favorite.
activities.
We good with snow, I'm sorry.
Facilities.
Facilities.
Yeah, everything else looks.
All right, on to water.
Whoa, I was gonna say water and sewer to last and do street lighting first.
Sure,
I set up the packet for best for last.
okay. I went out of order. Streetlight is currently also level funded. And this is the electricity for street lighting, not the replacement of street lighting. The replacement of street lighting falls under highway as well as I believe, warrant article from a couple of years back. There's still some funds that we're working on replacing the old lights over to LEDs. We had a good push right before the blizzard, right when I got here, on Mansfield Ave and on West Main Road. And we have the subcontractor under contract to continue that push with changing over to LEDs. We're at like 50% of the town. Yeah,
And I see the confused look in some people's faces. I too was told that we were all LED switched over, but boots on the ground says that we're not.
absolutely not. About 50%.
Mr. Chair, will we charge for that?
Not that I'm aware of. What I know of is an article that you guys, and I say you guys, I apologize for that term, but that the town voted, don't quote me the number, but $200,000 or something to
Sounds
that
about right.
effect. It has been spent, you have changed over lights, but there's a ton to go.
We could
Well,
get
and-
an accounting of
Mind you-
where that money went.
I'm sorry.
We've spent it, but it's not done?
No, that's what I,
Okay.
there is $60,000 that I am aware is still in that account. That's currently what I'm using to continue this project going. So yes, there has been $140,000, give or take, we'll get an account on it, spent for the switchover of them. But I think the cost of switching over the whole, I think the cost of switching over the entire town far surpassed what that warrant article did.
So that was gonna be my next question, if we're only 50% done and we've spent like 70% of the budget.
Yes, I'm gonna come back and ask for more money. However, I am working with Eversource, or National Grid out here rather, to find out what kind of rebate grants are available to do that same thing, because they want us to switch them over to LEDs as well, so stay tuned for whether or not there's rebate money available.
Oh, I hope so. Paul?
Mr. Chair, Justin, if we look at the last couple of years, there's been 50,000 a year. This year at the halfway point, we're only at 12.5. Is that because of the LED savings? Because it's halfway through the year, it should be halfway through the budget.
I can't answer that.
And then.
I apologize that I can't, but I haven't
and then
managed it long enough
The
to.
next year, you're looking for 50 again, but it almost looks like you could go to 25 and it would still cover maybe, but
I saw the same thing you saw, but I also know there's been some Eversource bills that are kind of floating around that I'm not sure have been paid yet. So I can't answer to that at this point in time. But certainly there is a possibility that'll happen.
In a normal world, it would be consistent every month to month, you know, in the winter, well, not if you're talking streetlights, yeah, it would be consistent.
Winter would be
But-
longer,
Yeah.
more than the summertime, obviously. Lights are on longer.
Zach?
a half year's a half year.
Mr. Chair,
July to December.
Yeah.
so the streetlights were owned by National Grid.
I'm told.
And then we put on a contract to a third party to change all the lights in town and to reassess the locations. Going back a few years back to night units. I was under the understanding that that was done, we paid the contract, the third party. I know they've done in my area, which I live at the edge of town. But now you're saying they have not done. I think there's a serious issue with that, if that is the case. And my next question would be is, around 123, is that the town's lights, or is that the state's lights?
That should be the state's lights.
So anything
123.
along At 140, those
Correct.
are not 'Cause I know you mentioned.
Do they actually maintain them though?
We
I
shouldn't be
don't.
paying anything, the bulbs, you know, we shouldn't be, you know, I don't know.
And again, it's 123 from the center to Attleboro, not from here to Easton.
Correct. I'll get back to you on whether or not the state's paying or we're paying, because I don't
But
know
the bigger
that.
issue is, we put out a contract for somebody to replace all the lights in town. And as far as my understanding was, that was done years ago. And now you're saying that half of them are not, I just find that shocking.
Disheartening?
I
Concerning.
can't
Especially if
speak,
we put a contract out, right? We need to dig up, I know.
I haven't
I know
seen
you're the town
that.
manager, I know you're new, you're getting your feet wet, I get that, but somebody needs to dig out that contract, wherever it may be.
I don't think, from what I could be wrong, I don't think there was ever a contract executed.
And who changed the lights? It wasn't the highway department, it was a third party.
It is.
No, but they're doing
Daigle-
piecemeal.
Yeah, they're doing them piecemeal. Daigle Electric does them.
So who does right now, if I call you and I say, my street light is out on my street, who's coming to change the bulb?
Daigle Electric, that's a catch-22. It's LED now, so there's no bulb to change.
Oh, whatever, let's,
But your light's out and you call me, I'm gonna put it on a list, and when I have 4 or 5 on that list, I'm gonna call Daigle Electric. And we don't have an electrician, we don't have
so it's-
any means. Well, you have an electrician, but I don't change lights.
I think some more digging's needed into that whole project.
I promise you I will. You have my word.
So you don't think it was ever officially contracted?
I don't think there was ever a contract executed to change that. I think there was X amount of dollars allocated for that warrant, and that money went into a fund, and they have pulled from that fund and changed lights over in piecemeal, like Mark said. But I don't think there was ever a contract that said, go around town and change 150 lights, like that.
And
I
Yeah,
haven't
reassess
seen-
the locations.
I haven't seen it.
Right.
That's what we were sold, you know.
I do have a database
Peter
of,
might know.
I do have,
that's the point I'm more concerned about.
I do have a database of all the lights locations, but on that database, it shows me which ones were changed and which ones weren't. Now, I didn't believe that, so I sent guys out from a couple of streets and said, go make sure that these haven't been changed, and they have not. And I can speak at least to West Main and Mansfield Ave. There was a good 40 that were not changed over.
So, right now, we're getting billed electricity based on the bulb that's in there.
Correct.
So, who's reporting that to National Grid? You're not supposed to?
No, you get based on usage. It has
Well,
a-
there's no meters on these lights. So they're basing on what bulb you got in there and how many hours roughly the daylight is. There's no meters on these lights. So that's, you know, and just by the way, so you know, we were paying about 200,000 a year for streetlights, roughly, you know, before this project, and it's dropped down
to 50.
considerably.
Yeah,
So, you know,
I can't speak on the metering part.
yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of digging, that's all I'm saying.
We pay at the church, we pay just for the light as a monthly fee
Correct,
repair, we
correct.
take care of maintaining and everything else.
But it's been a drastic reduction in that line item. So, I don't know.
I promise you, I will get you the information you're looking for and you deserve.
And we can provide a whole accounting of that warrant article with all invoices and look up the contract.
And I've seen that, I've seen the pieces of invoice, like at Daigle Electric, say 10,000, 10 lights. Like I've seen that. There was no big contract like you're talking about executed. I can't tell you why, but I can tell you I know what I've seen.
Peter,
Yes, I was going through my archive of minutes that I covered, and Mike Units asked for change the streetlights to LED back in 2024.
That's right, Peter.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, thank you, Justin.
All right. I mean, if you want to get technical, the state's probably supposed to pay for lighting them on the state-owned roads. I don't know that we would ever see a dime from trying to chase the state down on that.
Especially if they're not needed. I'll definitely get the information.
We can ask
Who
our
we
state
pay, how we pay,
representatives.
why we pay.
state representative actually has a bill he's putting forward that would save us 25 cents a gallon on diesel and unleaded, because why should our DPW, our fire trucks, our vehicles pay the state tax that just is
Goes
an
back.
additional tax, goes back to the state? So
Road-
that
it's called the
25 cents a
road tax.
gallon, that'd give us, you know, $30,000 a year, if we don't have to pay that 25 cents a gallon.
It's 30% of our free cash right now, so that's, we'll take it.
Yes, we will, gladly.
Yep. Okay.
What did you wanna do next? You want me to save water and waste?
Just go to order, so you got recreation next.
Yep. So one of the organizational changes that we've made since I've been here is we you know, made one DPW, and part of that DPW, excuse me, is Parks and Recreation. Melissa's department, now division, now falls under DPW, which kind of aligns with the way it kind of should be, seeing as though highways traditionally maintain the parks and rec areas. So it's a pleasure working with Melissa so far. I sat down with her on a few occasions, seen where your parks and rec was a few years ago and where it is now, and I think she's doing an outstanding job with the programming. And hopefully this reorganization will not only open up more opportunities for us to work together and share resources, but also, you know, give her some of the support maintenance-wise that she wasn't getting, I would think. So again, Parks and Rec, Melissa's here for specific questions, but you can see that for the most part, it went up a couple of $1,000s from the previous year, and most of that is the contracted services for the pool maintenance, the plumbing of turning on and off water at these locations in the springtime and winterizing it in the summer, opposite, thank you, and Flynn Pest Control to get some of the critters out of these buildings that stay dormant all winter. So I would open up questions for Parks and Rec.
Wasn't there a pool issue last year or last winter that we needed money to fix the pool?
There was a slow leak that the pool guy, for lack of a better term, he fixed it. So we took care of that, and then, this year he found that there may be a leak in one of the pipes, probably underground, but he thinks he may have fixed that. We couldn't tell this past summer because it was a hot, sunny summer, so we couldn't tell if it was a leak or evaporation out of the pool, because there's no shade at the pool. So he didn't seem concerned. He does commercial pools all over the state. And if he's not concerned, I'm okay with that, because he's been with us for years, so.
Decades.
Decades, yes. Bill is awesome.
Zach?
Question on the personnel services, it went from 38 to 48. Is there an alignment in hours? Did you get more hours?
Melissa has taken on more hours over the next year. Yep.
And then my other question would be,
There's a stipend. There's also a stipend in there for Melissa.
my other question would be on a comment Mark made about the fuel. Should we be charging, water and sewer to Parks and Rec? I mean,
That's a town bylaw.
oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Not only that, but it also falls on unaccounted water, so your regulatory agencies want you to.
Paul?
They want the chief to pay for his fire water when he puts out a fire.
Just-
Don't give him any ideas.
Just like on the opposite side, highway pays and water and sewer pays for details. It's kind of along the same lines.
I saw that $5,000 or whatever it was.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, Mark, the year-to-date through April 2nd, it said that the expenditures had gone up to 41,231. Did I
On which line?
notate that wrong?
Yeah.
Expenditures? Maybe it could be my mistake, so I'm just double checking.
41,000.
231 for expenditures, which,
I have 9,000, oh, that's as
that was as
December.
of December.
I have 18,000.
Okay, then it was my mistake, I'm just double checking. 18,000?
Through December 31st of 18.
What about through the April 2nd?
So it's 18 plus 9, right? That's just,
So that's the bottom line?
Yeah. so it's
20
18 plus 9, so it's 27,000.
27,000, okay. So that's exceeded,
That
what
can't
was
be right
budgeted
either.
for expenditures. It
That can't
looks
be
like-
right. Oh, your part-time wages, Melissa, that's separate, right?
Yeah.
Your part-time wages doesn't come out of the budget, is that correct?
I'm just looking at expenditures, though.
Yeah, but if you look at expenditures up top under recreation, the 18,000 or whatever number you're seeing is part-time wages?
No, the 18,000 up above for personal services is me.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the expenditures from the year-to-date expenditures that Mark sent recently.
So-
Yeah, I'm opening that right now.
Yeah, I could have,
Do you know which page it is? It's 56 pages.
it's towards the end, because it's one of the last budgets, recreation.
Department 630.
It looks like a $60,000 budget.
34 at the same rate.
It just looked like we had exceeded the expenditures, but you were budgeting for like almost 20,000 less.
After
Oh,
28.
Because I've been 25, I started at 25.
And then
It's
not the
25
most
where you
user-friendly
start.
I
report.
started at 25.
But is it
I have
28
them
when you
all right there.
got benefits?
So,
Well, I don't think it's accurate
Marsh's report?
I do have it, yeah.
because it's not adding it, it's not
Yeah, we're
giving a
looking for,
total.
number
Yeah,
630
this is just
recreation.
through December.
Department
Right, but
630.
then
So I'm not looking at this, I'm looking at his financial report he sent recently.
It says 35.
Give me 1 second.
That's why it's important.
And here it says 34. That's all.
Water, board, health.
This is all general fund.
Oh, here it is, recreation. So I
There it
have
is, recreation.
recreation to date on the report that I send. Looks like mine shows 28,000 part-time wages, is that what you're
I'm
saying?
talking about the expenditures,
Oh.
not personnel.
570.
I don't have a question on the personnel, it's the expenditures.
11,870.
Maybe I can explain it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
don't
just
have
looked
your
like.
sheet.
it
We're
looked
just trying to
like
get
we
the
had
accurate number.
exceeded what was budgeted for expenditures.
So I have 11,870.
Spent as of April 2nd for the
Yes, and-
expenditures? Okay, then I wrote it wrong then. I'm just double checking that because I had 41. You have 11,000?
Yeah, 11,870
Okay.
year to date actual, if I'm reading this right, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I see as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
11,000.
So the rate is
Okay,
I think
then we're good then.
currently going to 25. That's what it says. Do you have one?
Any other questions?
Now we get to the fun stuff.
Ah, I've been waiting.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So would you like me to jump into the budgets, or would you like me to talk about revenue?
If it has to do with the 10 months versus 12 months and cushions and all that kind of stuff, yeah, we'd love to hear that explanation.
So in the process of looking at their budgets going into this year, so the budget was already kind of written out, and I went over it to look at what they were spending, what I decided I needed, seeing where that all matched up. I started looking at the revenue calculation that they had. And I'm here to clear up any understanding. There's no hidden money. This is for the public as well. There's no hidden money out there. I didn't walk in to the water department and find, a case of money. I found was that the way they were managing their revenue, or the way they were calculating their revenue, didn't make sense to me. So I dove into it deeper. And I found some paperwork from years ago where somebody had instructed how to figure out their revenue for the next year at this time of the year. Now, this is just an opinion, but in my opinion, if you go back 3 or 4 or 5 years, I believe the town manager asked for revenue numbers later in the year. Somewhere along the line, that number started creeping up closer to February, closer to January. I was told this year Mark asked for them at the end of January. When I looked at how they did their revenue, they were calculating what they received up until that point, right? And there's a few things. It's not just your water bill. It's also interest. It's also capital. There's a few revenue line items. But then when it came to that calculating of what the revenue will be for the second half of the year that hadn't taken place, they were calculating it from April to June 30th. My first question was, why are we doing that? And answers I've received was, this is the way it was taught, right? Other answers I've received is, that was a way to increase the debt service for future projects. Not debt service, I keep using that word. The retained earnings for future projects. I think it's kind of a combination of something in between. I think that at the time, maybe the revenue was being requested at the end of February or sometime in February, so it made a little bit of sense. They were giving you April to June, but the first thing I said was, well, stop. I noticed that there's 2 months missing. Recalculate it with those 2 months in for what we took in last year from February to June instead of April to June. And lo and behold, there was a surplus of money. In the past years, this surplus of money would show up at the end of the year, right? Again, it wasn't hidden money. I've seen the retained earnings, and I started digging down to, Mark's asked me the question of how long has this been going on? I don't know. I can tell you that in 2020, the retained earnings was, let's just take water for instance. In 2020, your retained earnings surplus was $2.5 million. In that particular year, it went up by $335,000. 21, you had a bad year. I would imagine that was COVID. That was probably, so your retained earnings actually went down a little bit. So they must have had to use money for the budget. But then when you start in 2022, it went up by $25,000. I'm sorry, I keep saying 25. It went up by $250,000. So at the end of the year, there was a surplus of $250,000. In 2023, it went up by $700,000, rough number, like $696. In 2024, it went up by $700,000. And then in 2025, it went up by $1.3 million. So there's a surplus of money, retained earnings, which as of the date I received this was sometime in early March. The water had $5.2 million in retained earnings. It seems like an astronomical number. It's really not. It's more than I particularly will manage this retained earning. You're supposed to take your biggest asset, which at this point is the water treatment plant, and you're supposed to have enough to cover a major disaster, right? Like a real major issue over there. And $5.2 million is more than enough to cover that, if not excessive. There's a lot of plans in place for the town, right? Moving forward with sewer and moving forward with water replacements. So it's nice that we have this nest egg. I don't want to keep doing that though. We have needs that I'll portray to you in the next, when I show you the budgets, that some of that retained earnings that I know we're going to have at the end of this year should be put into the budget to be used today, not
What's the
5 years from
what
now.
is- What's the actual percentage that's in there? Is it, the DLS DLS wants between a 10 and a 20% surplus in retained earnings for those emergencies, which is a pretty sizable number, I would think, on your budget.
It is, but it's 10 to 20% of your biggest asset. Right? Or even if you took it as 10 to 20% of your annual budget, we have $5 million in there. So what I'm saying to you is, I can't speak for why and how things went the way they went. And I know you don't want me to keep saying that, but I can't, right? I don't know what went in somebody's mind 4 years ago. What I can tell you that is from managing budgets elsewhere and being a part of that financial system, that I can show you tonight that our projection to take some of that money that I would tell you is gonna end up being retained earnings at the end of the year and put that into the budget now and still have a surplus, which is what Mark and myself discussed going forward. Like I'm gonna give you this annually, what I think the retained earnings will be at the end of the year, which you can see in our budgets, and we can go over that in a minute.
And Justin, so 25% is the optimal balance for that, which is roughly 3 months of their operating expenses. And what I was told, is just asking some of the people, they did a very raw accounting thing of saying, let's only look at 10 months worth of revenue, and that gives us 2 months worth of the surplus. And that's why they based everything on it. It was just a very simple, down and dirty way of looking to have a little bit of a surplus by looking at only the 10 months. There was nothing hidden, like I said.
I really don't think there was anything malicious. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I know the people that are working there. I've gotten to know them. They're working extremely hard to come up with this budget. Where I say this probably could have and should have been caught was at the end of the year every year when somebody said, hey, we're putting $250,000 into retained earnings. Hey, this year we're putting $700,000 into retained earnings. And hey, this year we're putting $1.3 million into retaining earnings. You put $1.3 million into retained earnings when your budget could have used that. So again, not to get into it, but I've seen that in the past. They've come to you and said, we need to borrow retained earnings to make our budget whole for next year. Like I saw that, and it might have happened last year or the year before, that they came to you at the beginning of the year, where I am tonight, and said, my projected revenue is $300,000 shy. I'm gonna take that out of retained earnings, and like the people that you are, you said, yeah, absolutely, we gotta make this budget whole, and then at the end of the year, they put $700,000 into retained earnings. It just doesn't make sense.
So this year's budget puts 420 into retained earnings in water and puts
After I increase,
570 into retained earnings in sewer.
in estimation, right, obviously, that's,
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
well, I should say in projected revenue for next year.
So a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't know whether it was during the meeting, after the meeting, I asked you, Mark, this doesn't impact our financial reporting, though, does it? Because it sounds kind of wonky that what we've reported is somehow off.
Well, it all gets reconciled in the recap that we have to file with the state every year. So at the end of the year, after all the collections come in, and the treasurer's reconciles the accounts to the actual cash we brought in, minus the uncollectible accounts, it equals the amounts that we billed. Minus unaccounted for water, which is like hydrants, fires, but it does tie out at the end of the year. It's just a budgeting way that I wouldn't have estimated.
Okay.
That's a great way of putting it. I wouldn't manage this department like that.
But the state reports that were filed were correct to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. And our auditors or whatever didn't question, how are you putting this money in?
I don't wanna say it's a semantic, but it really is. It's really, I would expect you guys at some point to say, Justin, why are you putting $1.2 million in savings? And at that time, I might say, well, because I know we have a water main to replace, and I know it's gonna cost this, and I know I'm gonna ask you. But Mark will tell you that, you know, from a fiscal standpoint, you probably don't wanna use cash to pay for all that anyways. You wanna borrow money, right? You don't wanna, we talked about this a little bit, about how much cash you wanna use at a particular time on a project. But if you came to me and said, why are you putting $1.2 million into that? And I tell you, because I know something's coming up, or I wanna plan for a rainy day, you might say, well, this guy's frugal, he's smart. But there's a fine line in between that when you do it for your own house and when you do it for a municipality, right? Like, it's great, it's great to bank for tomorrow, but not at the demise of today. And I don't wanna say they did, and that please don't, anybody understand it differently. It was just a
Justin's
different,
saying-
yeah, right?
I mean,
I'm on Facebook, I do see them, right? Like, it was just a different standpoint that I don't think is good for the town.
Okay.
we end up in the black this way, and in the positive, but it's just more effective, it's a better service to the finance committee, the town meeting, the select board that relies on our reports to do it the transparent way that we're putting it forward.
That's perfectly put right there. At the end of this year, if I come back and say, hey, our revenue prediction was off, we've got $800,000 going in instead of 5, you're gonna say, wow, that's great. But if I came to you and said, hey, my revenue was off, we got $6 million, you'd be like, well, that doesn't make much sense.
So I'm hoping, since I'm not on social media, and I can just imagine that this issue is that you guys are gonna explain it at town meeting.
Absolutely,
I'm not gonna be able to.
absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
Zach?
So I'll ask the question that probably most residents are asking at the moment, that may be watching this at home. A few years ago, we did a rate study. They did a rate study, and there was a significant water increase over multi-year steps.
Yep.
We're sitting on this surplus budget. I understand the needs of the water that, you know, whether it's PFAS, whether it's water mains, whatever. We don't know what accounting was used when those studies were done. So, what about relief for the homeowner
So a
or
rate,
the resident?
a rate study in general goes by a couple of factors, and one factor is, what is your 10-year outlook? What is your 20-year outlook? What projects are gonna come forth? As you know, you have a PFAS issue in town. That rate study was done with those things in mind. So in answer to your question, no, that money is allocated and is gonna be spent, and needs to be spent. Absolutely needs to be spent. We need to do a new rate study to figure out where we're gonna be in the next 5 to 10 years, because you're supposed to do them every 5 years. And I believe I saw 7 years ago, you guys did the last one. So there are projects that these dollars are gonna be allocated to. We're talking about a West Main Street extension, some of these CIP requests that I know we're gonna talk about in a minute or so. Some of them are to, you know, to improve and advance the town. The other thing I'm gonna say when it comes to sewer, and I can speak on this, that when you, as a town, first started installing sewer, you didn't have enough money to be able to afford that, right? Because you're relying on people paying sewer bills to do your infrastructure going forward. So that's where a lot of these, you know, betterments came in, and money that was forced at that time, that now you're in a better position where we can afford to not do that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of things that the ratepayers are gonna see in the future. They're gonna get a bigger bang for their buck, and I definitely see the need in this town for that.
Brandon?
I was just gonna ask, having 5 million.
No more questions, please.
In the bank,
You're at the wrong meeting.
do we earn interest on that? The reason why I'm asking is
Mark
we
might be
have.
better apt to tell what percentage of interest, but
Yeah,
yes.
probably not very much, but yes.
The reason why I ask is, that, you know, I think it was 2 years ago when, you know, the town found all this money, I think it was 1 point something million that was earned on interest that wasn't paid for the projects. Now, I know that's 30 million, but if it's 1.6, you're still a couple $100,000 worth of interest, if it's 5. That's
Yeah,
just-
yeah, so I guess we front end loaded the borrowing for this building and the senior and community center.
And it was, yeah, there
So
was
we
a-
were also paying interest at the same time we're earning
Yeah,
interest.
but we still,
So,
it still
might have been a
was,
net zero, but,
I think.
well, actually, investments did really good that year.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. But I was just curious.
So,
Let me see
yeah,
if I-
it's invested very conservatively under the Massachusetts laws that,
Okay.
unless it's a trust fund, we can't invest it in a aggressive
No, I know you want it,
manner,
but
it's
at this
it's in a
point,
safe,
10, 20.
diversified.
Well, most of your local banks, for the last couple of years, have had consistent just
Yeah,
liquid money markets at 3 and change, which,
yeah, so it's probably in there, it's probably in the 3, if I had to guess. I can find that exact if you want.
Justin, just, on the, trying to get it right back to your spreadsheets. $50,000 increase in the highway salary line item.
Yeah, if,
112 on water, and then 226 on sewer. That's a $388,000 increase. Are we talking more more hires and stuff
yep,
instead of?
if, I don't mean to cut you off, if you
Yeah.
wanna go into the budgets now that, I wanted to make sure everybody was at least satisfied with my answer. Cause I knew that was gonna be a topic for tonight.
Gavin, did you have something on
Oh,
this?
just a
or-
small thing, I was looking at the auditor's report, I think I saw 182,000 of interest in the last auditor, so.
Thank you.
Good money.
Yeah.
I just happened to be poking through it, when somebody asked about the auditor's report, I was like, what did they say? And it was nothing interesting on this topic.
So let's jump into water, if you don't mind, water, budget. And as you mentioned, you see an increase in a couple of line items. Number one is, the salary increase. And I'm gonna kinda explain this as, one, water and sewer, but it's really water and sewer separately, right? So, you have a need in this town to have a superintendent of water 100% for water. You have a need in this town to have a superintendent of sewer 100% in sewer. What you have is a great guy in Frank that's trying to manage both sides. And from a regulatory standpoint, it's to the point this day and age where that's impossible. I'm proposing to separate those two. So however you slice the pie, the superintendent's salary was 50% water and 50% sewer. What I'm looking to do is take one of their salaries and put it to water, and one of their salaries to put it to sewer. So you'll see an increase in both of those line items in both budgets. Along with that, I'm doing the same thing with the foreman. You have a foreman of water, which is a union position. Right now, you have a foreman of water and sewer combined. If you look at the way his day is spent, he doesn't have time to do sewer. He's 90% water. So along with that superintendent, I'm looking to split that foreman position as well. So you'll have a foreman paid out of water, you'll have a foreman paid out of sewer. His duties will be to those individual divisions. I'm gonna call them divisions now because they're no longer departments. And there will be no need at this point to back the assistant superintendent that you once had. So there is some of that money that's incorporated into these positions.
So that's 206,000 of the 388. I'm just trying to.
What are you at right now? I'm sorry, in particular.
So if you split those out, you add a second Frank at 112 and a second union guy at 94, that's $206,000. You got a $388,000 increase in your salary lines across your 3 departments. I'm gonna assume that 100 and something of that is yours. Is that the new position?
Yeah, my salary splits between highway, water, and sewer.
And I'm just trying to, so that we all see where
Yep.
that 388 comes from.
I'm sorry.
Big bump. So-
Yes.
So you're part of that, I think.
I'm
it's
part of that.
160, 170 or something like that, I'm thinking.
So there is there was the assistant, so call that a wash. There was an assistant, not a wash, but there was an assistant water superintendent that was paid out of both of those. Some of that is now gone. It's absorbed by my salary, but my salary is split between water, sewer, and highway.
So 2 new positions only.
2 new positions coming on.
One at 112 and one at 94?
Let me just, before I say that.
Is that?
Yeah, 112 and 90,
And Ju- and
5.
Justin's would be another 165, bill that wasn't in last year's budget either, so that's.
Right.
So that's a third position, if you will.
Yes.
That's showing up in this budget.
correct. But the delta is only 2 positions because they had that other position.
But, I don't know if it's a but.
Go ahead, I'm not trying to confuse things. That's why I was trying to think of one at a time.
But level fund, this isn't level, this is a.
No, water and sewer is not level funded. I'm not proposing a level fund. I'm gonna go on and tell you what the other additions are for.
And the salary comes out of retained earnings, or?
The salary is gonna come out of revenue that I'm projecting for this year.
Okay.
So your revenue, which we have to prove it out, we have proved it out, your revenue is enough to cover my proposals, plus put the numbers Mark said,
On the
I'm
bottom.
sorry. I'm using my own sheets. So 420,000 at the end of the year in water and 571 in sewer.
We're still putting, what, $750,000 total
Yep.
into retained earnings?
Just had a discussion the other day too, the benefit side of the equations, that shows up on the town side, Mark? Like the school and all that, like their benefits?
It's
And if
enterprise.
that's the way coming out of that, that should be shown in here somewhere or not, I don't see it.
It's enterprise, so it shows up as an indirect,
If you look at that other line, the interfund operation transfers.
which we did take a fresh look at this year and squeezed probably close to another 100,000
That's a
into
direct
general
account
fund
to
from
your-
enterprise.
That's from their account to your account in town hall lot.
That covers benefits and all the other town hall.
Yeah,
That doesn't show
Pieces.
the town, that doesn't show up or go to town meeting anywhere.
it does as the indirect line on this budget.
It's right there on my budget.
So it's, which line is it? You wanna show 'em?
Yeah, it's, if you look at line 561, right above that, interfund operating transfer for water would be 681,000. And for sewer would be 614,
So
I'm
that's
sorry,
their contribution
215.
to the general fund.
For benefits.
Yeah, for benefits, a percentage of the accountant's salary, the town manager's salary, the treasurer's salary, all the, yeah.
Mr. Chair? Can I ask, why the town manager recommendation for the salary lines is higher than the department request on both of those?
Because I had forgot to add in a contractual increase to the superintendent of highways.
So that's not in the sheet here?
Once it got to Mark caught it.
Because I'm still seeing the bottom line is what you.
Oh, yeah, he missed the number. I found the number that he missed. He didn't want to give someone a raise.
But she's seeing that the total down here is the same.
Oh, that's the same, yeah.
Didn't carry through.
Yeah, that's probably cut and paste error. So, I looked at the bottom line and it matches up. but-
So the other
Yeah.
few items, and just to be again transparent, the other few items that you'll see that I'm asking for an increase for this year, for both of those items, are professional service and engineering services. Those are kind of twofold. The professional service and part of the engineering services is for software. So the town right now, when it comes to water and sewer, and even highway for that matter, has no maintenance programs. What I mean by that is everything's logged on paper. So, what did you do today? It's all here on paper. What did you do yesterday? It's all here on paper. I need you to go do this. It's verbal. Putting the town into this century with, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but with a software, a maintenance software. As you know, the town has an app called C-Click Fix right now that you're allowed, that you guys use, which is an outward facing. It's for the residents, it's for even employees. I tell them, you see a pothole, you put it into C-Click Fix. What I need now is, right now, those C-Click Fixes go to somebody's email. So somebody gets an email saying, "Oop, there's a pothole on Elm Street," and then I say to you, "Go fix the pothole on Elm Street." And I'm not saying they're not recording it and logging it, but it's on paper. What I need to institute is a maintenance software that says C-Click Fix automatically creates and generates a work order. That work order automatically gets assigned to you or you. You go out, you complete the job, you close out the work order, and then in turn that goes back to the resident saying, "You were heard and this job has been completed." Why do we need that? Multiple reasons. I want to be able to come to you and justify my operating expenses with real data. These are what the guys are doing. This is what they're doing all day long. These are the amount of jobs they're doing. It would be eye-opening to the public to realize exactly what they are doing. But then it's also for managerial purposes. How long does it take us to do these jobs? You know, do we need an added person? Is there equipment that we need? And then finally also for regulatory compliance. Water and sewer, we're regulatorily, I think that's the word,
Go with it.
mandated to fill out paperwork every year that shows that data. So what ends up happening is some people stand there and go through work orders and go through assignments and go through chemicals, and we're looking to get that all in software. On top of that, and Mark probably will talk more about this, but there's procurement software that I'm begging Mark to buy into, which I know he does. Again, everything we do in town is on paper. So there's a bigger discussion for
Real-time
that.
balances on the accounting software, need.
I would also assume that this also gives you real-time records, in that someone doesn't come up and say, "Hey, you need to fix X," and you're like, "I thought we already did that."
Yes, absolutely. How much money have we spent on this valve over the past 3 years? And I'm not saying it's not in people's heads, because honestly, it is. But the other need that the town has, and the other piece of the software that the town is missing, is the GIS data. So we did pay a company, I think, 7 years ago to come into town and GIS our assets. What's an asset? A fire hydrant, a crosswalk, a tree. Those are all your town's assets. Hasn't been done since. A lot of growth has happened in the last 7 years in the town of Norton. There's a lot of data that's not there. They weren't capturing everything. When they did it kind of out of necessity, and they did capture, some of the assets of town, but not the entire holistic. So that's the other software, a real-time GIS system that 99% of the towns and cities out there are using, that incorporates all that data and.
Isn't there a downside to that, though, that the state's gonna say, "Look at the value of this town, we're not giving you a dime"?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Mark, just a housekeeping on the sewer budget. You gotta call them off on your column. And you get 5,000 next to the Taunton sewer treatment plant, it should be blanked out, that 5,000 should be shifted down one line.
Yeah.
So all those columns will add up. And then,
We don't pay nothing at a time. Or do we?
Okay. I have had bills to Taunton.
Oh, we do pay Taunton. We do send them sewer.
Yeah, we pay them
That's an
about
accurate number.
Well, so that 5,000 going across the board was blank for all the other years, the last 3 years.
I think,
And if you look at, if you shift that down
those
one,
four.
all up to the 5,000, 11,000, 2,500, 12,000.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. I think you have the same totals, but if you shift them down,
Correct,
it'll
correct,
look
but
better.
So it shows the right thing.
Yeah.
And secondly, would you explain to me just one last time on both the water and sewer, what is the benefit of the budget surplus of almost $1 million? That help the town side, or what is that for?
What do you mean by that, down the end?
Down the bottom.
That's what
yours
we're,
only, that's not yours, you've got it down under your column, Mark, as, 571, 291 for budget surplus on,
that's just what we put, that's just the column we put it in after Mark asked me to show you, that's what we think we're gonna have going into retained earnings at the end of this season.
So while it doesn't directly benefit like the general fund side of it, we can't like hire another firefighter with the surplus water sewer. If we do use it to stimulate new growth, then that will allow us to provide more funds for general funded positions. Fire, police, schools,
so
the
that's the
children.
retained earnings part again, and it's just, you're breaking it out in advance, rather than just having it suddenly be there.
Right. And instead of putting 1.3 million in like we did last year, we're putting 500,000 in and using some of it for our budget.
In 420 for water, so you're putting almost $1 million in. Thank you.
A lot of thinking going on.
I think that concludes my time here.
Oh, the
Warrant
project.
articles?
No,
No.
it's project.
I think fire's first, right? Or do you wanna do warrant articles?
Think fire got covered.
Do you guys have questions for fire? I mean, Sean's been very patient.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, are you here?
Justin does have a lot more projects to discuss.
Well, I think you got his extra 100,000, so I think he's good, no?
We're very happy about that, yes. But I'm obviously happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Do you have any, I guess we'll talk about this next time,
In-
but I don't know if he has any capital
In
requests.
capital, there's, go ahead, you want to talk
Yeah,
about your
I can
capital?
go over that if you want. I can pull it up real quick for you.
Can I ask a question about it first? This isn't the updated one then? The one that you gave us, because you're gonna add something, has the position been added in here?
100,000.
No, it has
you
not,
mentioned.
has not been
So
added.
can we get an update for police and fire on those?
Sure, I'm hoping to update it again, but I can give you an interim update, sure.
Oh, you can wait until it's the final, it's fine.
Let me answer your question, Paula.
Yes.
So for capital, we had requested 40,700 for turnout gear. You guys remember that expires every 10 years. We try to maintain 2 sets per person. So we try to space it out so that we're not, replacing 40 sets all in 1 year. And then our second request was for $649,800 just for the apparatus payment. That would be 305 for that payment. We also had AEDs on our list. We found some alternative funding for that. In the gas meters that we had on our list, we were able to get a grant from the state for like $15,200, I think it was, to help pay for that as well. So that was good news for us and the town. So if we do all the capital request and the 1.2 million, like we talked about earlier, that would, let's see here. I have it over here. I got a win number, 1.2, 6.9. Yeah, I'm showing a different number. Somehow this didn't add up right, but anyway. So that'd be about 700, it'd be about 1.9 that we would take out of there. Right now, we have 3,054,970 in the ambulance account as of the end of March. So, in our conservative average, what we're basing on 5 years, is 1.662 million a year. And then, so that breaks down to about $138,500 a month, just, so you guys can have a picture of what that looks like. So, with all that coming out between now and the beginning of next fiscal year, it'd be about $415,000 additional that would go into that account.
So we are confident that the ambulance reserve account is stable there. I mean, Deputy Wilson's with us. I don't know if he wants to add anything up to
I mean,
you.
Kathy wanted, but yeah, I mean, we looked at all the figures and stuff, so, yeah, I have it all mapped out, projected over the next 5 years. Yeah, so, we should be okay to do that. So that would leave us, oh, that's what my numbers were, that would leave us with a balance of 1.164470, after taking out the 1.2, 649, and the 40,700. That's why I gave you the other figure of, you can also add another $415,000 onto that if you're thinking fiscal year wise. And then I have our capital, I don't wanna bore you too either, but I have the capital mapped out in that 1.2, and the figure for 1.1, based on what we decided to take out, to supplement the budget over the next 5 years, so, we'll be okay. But once we get rid of that, the apparatus payments, we're gonna be in good shape. Excuse me, we have an ambulance coming up in a couple of years for, it'll probably be about $525,000. But they take about 3 years to, almost 3 years to come in now too, so. Yeah, the last one was 3.5 years, no kidding, yeah. So surprisingly, I just found out the one that we have on order, is gonna probably be about 3 months sooner than we expected, but it's still almost three years. So my point in telling you that is, even though that's coming up in maybe like another year or so, we could talk to the vendor and possibly, order that ambulance without signing a contract. And because it's such a hot commodity, because it takes so long to come in, even for some reason, 2 years later, we said, we can't do that, they would easily sell it to somebody else. So
Right.
you're hearing of them being able to do that, and that would kind of free up, so we're not taking that $500,000 out next year and getting that number even closer to, to being too low than we would like, so.
And you
Yeah.
stay ahead of inflation if you can lock in the price.
What's that?
You stay ahead of inflation if you can lock in the price.
Yeah, that's what we benefited when we ordered those 2 apparatus at the same time. We saved over $200,000 by doing it that way, and we got a 5% discount by doing a bulk purchase.
So Chief, you guys have done a good job
Chief.
at
I don't get one trip.
forecasting out, like the apparatus, the bladder, and it'll be paid off before we even get it, probably. the way it's going.
It's gonna be close, and keep in
Yeah,
mind,
so-
another bit of good news is that when that 649,800, that was calculating, interest over that time too, right? So this is, if the town meeting approves it, this July, we'll actually have 3 payments basically waiting there, right? And I don't wanna bore you while I find that.
We interest on it all the time, because we haven't paid it to them.
Right, so we're gonna, when that gets closer, we can talk about how, how we wanna bond that,
Probably, yeah.
or maybe we can just pay it outright. In addition, we also worked out a deal with them, if we do a payment to them, like say when the chassis of the fire engine is done, it's still in the factory, but we'll have a VIN number and everything like that. I can pull out the numbers if you want the exact ones, but we're gonna save probably like $15,000, $18,000 on that. And we worked out the same thing with a new tower truck. When the chassis is done, we're gonna get like a $17,000 discount by paying for that, and then when the aerial part of it's constructed, we make another payment, and we're gonna save probably another $15,000 or $20,000 for that. So we're gonna save a good amount of money just by working out those things, and we have the money already sitting there ready to pay them for when that stuff comes in without having to go to borrow right away.
So that leads to
Yeah.
my question. You got 2 years, the 650,000 drops off. What are your needs beyond that for equipment? I understand you're always gonna need ambulances, you gotta stay ahead of them.
Yep.
But what is the condition of all the other trucks and equipment that you have?
We're
I
in
know
pretty
you guys
good,
usually-
yeah, no, we're in pretty good shape. The ambulance, I have, FY '28 coming up, I'm just trying to find big things for you. Obviously, the payments for the next 2 years that we just talked about. The fire gear in FY '29, right now I'm projecting $108,000 and maybe $322 for fire gear. So that's gonna jump up because we have a lot of sets that are gonna expire that year. FY '30, I have $160,000 for an SCBA filling station to fill our air bottles. That's pretty expensive.
So no major like.
No, I'm just scanning it real quick just to make sure. Then we have an ambulance again on here, FY '32. I'm estimating just inflation, $650,000. Hopefully it's less than that.
You know
But
that's outrageous, right?
it's been going up.
That sounds outrageous, but.
You used to think like 3, 4, 5%, and it's been going up like 8, 10% a year. Yeah, it's unbelievable, but,
Why don't you just pick up in a Rolls Royce and be cheaper?
right? And then the next pumper replacement on the capital plan is in FY '34. And I'm gonna have to adjust that, cause that's showing $900,000 on there, and it's gonna be way more than
So in
that.
2 years' time, you're gonna free up a lot of cash in
Yeah.
your ambulance.
Yeah, and then we'll, not only that, but we'll also be able to kind of tuck some away to build up for some of these other things that are coming up, maybe 6 years from now, 7 years from
And
now.
I'm sure,
You know.
you'll probably be doing rate increase in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, every couple of years we look at it and,
You
you
just
know.
did one about 6 months ago?
I think it was a little bit longer than that, but it wasn't that long ago. Every couple of years, we look at it, our billing company helps us with it, and we also have, like a chief's spreadsheet that we kind of share with each other, what our rates are, so we can compare, both Bristol and Norfolk counties and stuff, so we try to keep an eye on that, so.
Paul?
So, the chief
Well, you know about the
also
fire
has,
department.
chief also has in his, information today, the possible separation expenses for two guys, 1% mark for 666.
Yeah, it's almost a couple $100,000. And just keep in mind, that's at this current rate.
Right.
So, you know, if they, whatever they get for pay increases, we'll, you know, obviously increase that by that same
That's what
percentage.
you're looking at with the 200,000 for the free cash within that account.
Yeah, we're
Just add
actually
more to it, just,
kind of short, because we had two 100,000s this year, and we have the 200,000s next year, so yeah. Planned, and we might have unplanned ones too. We-
The goal is to keep that around $1 million, that's all, right? So you keep whittling away
That's,
at it.
that's the goal. But hopefully we can rearrange the contracts where these will be a thing of the past. You know, because you get a pension when you retire, you know, maybe the new people won't expect to get an additional amount plus a pension.
The history of that was back in Prop 2.5 and the 10-year raises, they gave that as an incentive at the time. The sick leave buyback, because then guys weren't using sick leave, which you had to hire in a time and a half, so the town's saving half time indirectly, but you're also paying it future dollars for money you saved from 20 years ago. So again, it doesn't always pay out that well, and it is a very pricey, line item.
Anybody answer any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
No, thank you, appreciate you guys.
You're welcome to stay.
What do you think about that? No, I'm happy to stay, okay.
Good night.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Have a good night.
So how does the committee want to proceed? Do you want to go in order of warrant articles? If so, I'd suggest, I mean, they're all adequately noticed in my opinion. I'd suggest you could go right to number 1 and vote the school roof. Or we could take care of DPW's projects while they're here.
I'm good either way.
I guess I would do DPW first.
Which one, order or DPW?
No, I'd do DPW,
okay.
anything with that first.
Sure.
So the first warrant article is number 2, which is the Chapter 90 Transportation Aid
Oh, they
Program.
already voted that.
All right, thank you. Tell me what you want me to talk about.
So capital, so article number 9.
Article number 9 is capital appropriation.
So that's the Excel chart in the back of your packet. That has 4 subtotals from the capital improvement, ambulance reserve, water and sewer. And you're the bulk of that.
I have highway, water, and sewer.
Right,
So-
right.
So the highway request for capital improvements is a new asphalt box, what we call a hot box. That was for the pothole filling that we talked about. Currently, the asphalt hot box that we're using is 30 years old. If you've ever seen an asphalt hot box, they are not designed to last 30 years. I mean, it's hot asphalt that you try to keep clean, but doesn't work, so it's time to replace that. We have 2 currently in our system. One goes in the back of a truck so that you can do long patches like a trench fill or something, and the other one is a portable one that you shovel out of to fill potholes. It's the one that we shovel out of that we're looking to replace for $70,000. The other request for highway is for a 6-wheeler with a sander and a plow. I think it was brought up at the capital improvement committee to kind of price that out over 5 years.
Yes.
So the request originally was $280,000. That's for a 6-wheeler with a don't quote me, 5-ton sander on the back. I have it if you really wanna know.
Correct?
What is it?
And a plow?
And a plow, yep. Again, the unit that we used this past year is 30 years old. It's seen a lot of storms. The heat in it doesn't work. The hydraulic fluid leaks and it's not repairable anymore. Parts are impossible to come by. And I think the crew has done an outstanding job keeping it going for 30 years. So, that's the highway request. And stop me if you have a question for those, or I'll move on to water.
I just have one question. The paving in front of the middle school, are you gonna be involved in that, or is the school handling that themselves?
We're involved.
Okay,
We're going through our surge contract.
okay,
We gave them a good quote for what to ask for.
okay, very good.
Justin, the asphalt hot box also gets used by the sewer department and water department when they're digging trenches and patching. Is there any reason that couldn't come out of that instead, truthfully?
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I'm all for that portions of it, and you'll see that I am doing that as we go. I'm not sure that would be an item that you'd want to do that with. That's my best answer.
Okay,
Just a good try.
always trying.
You know, that's the perfect example of why one DPW makes more sense. We have assets that we need to share, right?
But always have, but again, here's a chance to maybe write it off out of that retained earnings, that's all.
Correct, and you'll see later on, give me a minute and we'll get to the next one. Any other questions for the two highway items? So next I have water, and you'll see that there's again, year 1 of 5 for a new loader. The new loader is the piece of equipment that you saw, removing snow this past year from the side of the road because the plows can no longer push it, it was too heavy. The loader is also used to load trucks, right? So it's used to load salt, sand, dirt, whatever we're loading. Currently, we have one within the department that was purchased from the highway department. Water also has a need for a loader. Water uses the loader. Even during the snowstorms, water needed the loader to clear the well sites, to clear the sewer sites. We ended up going back and forth, and again, if you know what a loader is, it's a pretty big size equipment that doesn't go very quick on the roads. So we would have a guy from highway department going across town to pull somebody out of the side of the road to clear and then come back. It just doesn't make any sense. So for water and sewer to have their own loader stationed at the water and sewer department on the other side of town, just makes 100% of sense. Justifiable for water and sewer to pay for that loader. And there's a price of $13,000 for a plow out of water. That's a truck that was purchased last year or the year before. Due to budget constraints, they didn't purchase a plow with it, I'm told. I wanna put a plow on that to be able to utilize it, so that's what that request. Again, paid for out of snow, paid for out of water because it's gonna be used to clear water assets. Sewer, you're gonna see the other half, I'm sorry, sewer's missing one item. So sewer's paying the other half of that loader investment. Oh,
It's
I'm
probably
sorry.
in another warrant
I'm sorry,
article.
it's a different warrant
So,
article.
yeah.
So the only request from capital for sewer is the other half of that loader.
And so if you have questions for Justin, that's great. The other items, either Zach or myself can speak to. We were there at the Capitol.
And if you wanna do
Committee.
that, I'm gonna use the restroom.
So the loan is $600,000 total.
Nope, the loader is 60 times 5, 300,000.
$300,000, okay.
It's a little under that. It's like 280, but once we fully equip it and get a radio and all that, you'll be up to 300.
The only thing before you take off is, seeing now it's under your hat, pickleball courts.
Yep, it's on here too. I'm sorry. Yep, pickleball courts, $40,000.
The history, people may have forgotten. We
Okay.
allocated some money, go ahead.
So some money was allocated over the past year, 2 years for it. There's a growing requests to put in pickleball courts.
A lot of requests.
So the money that was allocated, and I don't have that in front of me, but I believe it was 16,000?
In that ballpark.
$16,000. The courts are gonna be over $60,000 to put in. And there's also a $10,000, again, I wish Melissa was here to give her props, but her park program revolving fund has $10,000 to put into that as well. So we're asking for a capital improvement request of $40,000 to pay the delta of that. And I will say it to everybody, this is for the tennis courts over at the middle school that we're turning them into pickleball courts. We're gonna do 2 tennis courts, which comes out to 6 pickleball courts. Originally, Melissa came to me and said we're gonna look into having the courts resurfaced and composite and painted. After speaking with the highway department, who has some experience with those particular courts, I believe they're built on top of very soft ground. Somebody said a septic system, but I don't think it's a septic system. I think it's an old. Anyways, there's no faith that resurfacing that court will last. It's going to continue to move every year. So what we're proposing is, if anybody's been to Gillette Stadium, they have an outdoor pickleball court now where the ice rink goes in the wintertime. They're portable, temporary, I don't know how you want to call it. They're tiles that clamp together, and they paint them so you'll have some beautiful courts that if something should happen to underneath, we can take off. We could, redo the foundation, put them back down. So it seems to make the most sense for what the area we have to play in.
And just as an aside,
No, I'm not gonna play with you.
we have no tennis courts left in?
You will. You'll have 2 of the 4 will continue to be tennis,
Okay.
but then I believe there are people here from school. School has their own tennis courts.
Correct, they built new ones behind the middle school,
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
behind
the
the
Yale.
middle school, behind the,
I think these tennis courts, if I'm correct, the school basically said we're no longer gonna use them as tennis courts,
correct.
and they gave them to Parks and Recreation, and they've been using them since.
Yep, does the school department paving, what is being paved?
That's the middle school area that,
Where the house used to be up front where they used
Yes,
for parking?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so I think
Next to the park.
50,000 was allocated at one
There
time.
was 50,000 allocated last year, it was not nowhere near enough, so the balance was.
And again, we've priced this out through our surge contract. We don't do it internally. We manage it, but it'll be done by a subcontractor, and the balance is being requested this year from the school, but to give to
So
us.
you're looking to have these done, both those projects at the middle school this summer?
Correct. I promised people in this town that they would be playing pickleball this year, so you have my word.
And have a place to park.
And have a place to park. And I think that not only helps those courts, but I know the bus situation over there, and parents, I'm told, park there, and it's just not a good setup over there,
Especially when it snows.
especially when it snows.
The police department parking lot improvements, are you handling that too?
Yes, I am. Again, chief, I think, requested money last year, it was $25,000. More, Zach?
No,
Oh.
yeah, nowhere near enough, I was gonna think.
I don't even know, I don't think that was his request, I think that's what he was told he could have, I don't know the situation, but half of their police station is in dire need of a resurfacing. We're pretty confident we're gonna get the whole police station parking lot done for that money, so the delta of what we're asking for this year, again, is gonna be through our surge contract. We've talked it over with the police chief, and there's some lighting there he thinks we can remove, and we're gonna get that done this construction season as well.
Right, and that's in addition to a $25,000 grant from the state that would have paid a
That's where
couple
the-
parking spots.
That's where the 25,000 came from, I apologize.
Bonnie?
Yeah, you mentioned that the $10,000 revolving fund, I'm pointing at her like she's still here, from the recreation department is going to help pay for the pickleball courts, is that what
Correct.
you're saying? So how will the lifeguards be paid?
There's enough in there.
Okay.
Yeah, we went over it. Melissa was comfortable with that amount for the pickleball courts.
Gotcha, okay.
I think it's a little bit more that she spends out of that during the year for different programs, but that 10,000 was a surplus, if you will.
Great.
Is there, did we vote on those limits a couple weeks ago with the revolving funds? Is there enough room for that additional use? Do we know, does anybody have that? I don't remember any of those numbers.
You mean off the allocation?
No, so there's like a limit to how much you can use from.
That's what I mean, well, how
Yeah,
much we
okay,
can,
that's-
I'm saying the same thing, and I do know.
You check that number, as
Yes.
long as, if you guys.
Yeah, it's in excess of
We haven't
10.
changed it, I know, cause that.
It's in excess of 10,000.
But there's still room for
Actually,
lifeguards,
that
too.
one doesn't need to be voted, that's a special count, it's not a 53E, it's a 53D and a half.
Oh, okay, so we didn't even look at it the other day, probably.
D and a half, you said?
53D and a half.
D and a half, okay.
Not
So
the
it's not
53
Not
E
to
and a
be-
half.
Not to be confused.
They do have 3/4 laws.
Wow.
Leave it to the legislature.
Cool.
So the other items on here, we need you back for other.
I will be back, I
Okay.
promise.
And don't charge us for overtime.
I don't get it.
So we have cruisers here. Chief Clark asked for, did you want to take the lead?
No, go ahead.
Chief Clark asked for 3 cruisers, we approved 2. Conducted energy weapons, and both his cruisers are over 100,000 miles. They wear those out and typically pass them down to highway if they have any life left. I'm not sure these 2 have any life left. We really need to beef up our mechanic capabilities in DPW, so we're spending less on outside repairs and taking care of the things that we have. I mean, we're doing the best we can, there's just sometimes there's 3 cars like that need little dents fixed or something to get them running again, and we just have to use an outside service because we don't have the person that could fix them more economically. So conducted economic weapons, tasers, they're out of warranty and you wanna err on the side of safety when it comes to potentially saving lives, so we would start a 5-year contract for tasers, $32,500 a year, and that way, I asked if we could get a trade-in for the old tasers, and he's gonna look into that, but this quote is not taking that into consideration. It's actually one company that provides the tasers for all the police departments in America. That's,
Wonder how that happened.
yeah.
So for 150, 160 over the term, how many tasers is that?
It's 35, yeah, 35. They're about $5,000 each.
And highway department can't use those.
Shocking.
Shocking, shocking.
Let's not do that.
I mean, yeah, we probably don't want those in untrained hands.
Probably.
Save the old ones for town meeting.
So, yeah, along with the station, the parking really does need it back there. It's falling apart. Any questions on police? You wanna move to schools?
Yeah, I just was, looking at the tasers from, we just approved 21,000 tasers from last year too.
That was probably the last year of a 5-year contract. Yeah, he really doesn't wanna be out of warranty, and I pressed him on it, and if a taser malfunctions, I don't wanna be the reason why.
Yeah, I think it's, if those things fail, the next step is to go with the lethal force, and he doesn't wanna get into having to use lethal force.
And they do try them on themselves before they deploy them,
I took a tour
the new
once.
people.
As a police officer, you have to have yourself tased.
Town
took a-
manager's supposed to.
My son's a police
No, I
officer.
took a tour though, like 4 or 5 years ago, and when they were doing the shooting range, they were like, do you wanna get tased? I'm like, no. But, yeah,
What's it on your bucket list?
wasn't on my bucket
We
list.
have an empty bladder.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they have an inside shooting range over there,
Yeah,
and they already expended all their ammunition funds this year.
whoa.
on each other versus the town.
I know, right? I wonder how many times they've had to use them, have to deploy like a taser.
Oh, there's an annual
35.
report on that. It's probably on the website. They had to do so many reports as part of their accreditation. They're like
Oh, right.
500 items they need, and that was one of them. How many,
Hmm.
keeping track of those statistics.
Hopefully it avoids the use of a firearm.
Pull out a firearm, they have to file a report.
Yeah.
It's a report on anything when it comes to pulling a weapon.
And if they had body cams, they would automatically start recording when you pull the weapon.
It's very
That is a
strict.
goal for the future, if we can ever figure out how to pay for storing the data. We can get grants for the body cams, but the problem is the annual operating costs to store those terabytes. But we're looking into if the regional dispatch center can do it for all 4 communities.
We discussed the school department the other night, correct, so we.
All right, school, enough about tasers. Tech displays, Norton Middle School, so this is the 3rd year of 5 for this contractual commitment. It's, we don't really have much of a choice if we're not in year 1. Tech switches, that's the big one. That's, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but tech switches are those white boxes on the ceiling that transmit Wi-Fi, transmit internet through the building. So that's what makes the internet go to the classrooms. It's beyond its expected life of 3 to 5 years. It's managed 7 to 9 years. Time to replace them. And it comes with a 60% reimbursement. So we're gonna be asking to appropriate 357, but only use 60% of that, or only use 40% of that, 60%'s.
And then the other will just kick back and stay in the capital fund.
Correct. Under the grant, you have to allocate the full amount in order to get the grant, and the rest will be turned back.
Yeah,
It's 142.8.
so, necessary expense. And there's all sorts of conditions, they're going through the procurement for that, getting the best deal. I mean, they actually went up from 50% reimbursement to 60% reimbursement, which is good. So that's school plus the paving.
That's the middle school one next to the playground?
Yeah, that's the one we discussed. And the library has a $2,084 security system. The original, I don't wanna say too much in a public meeting, but I'll just say that we could use that security system. There's $1 million worth of books, I'm informed.
Which I'm working with them over there as the facilities director to kind of oversee their improvements.
There's an old rifle, a nice work of art, you should check it out if you haven't been in the library recently.
There's also a bathroom request there, but there's some issues with that quote.
Yeah.
So hopefully they come back with the fall. With another request.
request for the library?
Yes.
They don't have one. No.
No, bathroom remodel, but again, the quote had something like 6 toilets in it when there's only 1, so I'm not sure.
She does wanna expand the footprint, I found out, but we could get more quotes.
We're gonna work together.
And apply for grants. She found a potential grant source.
So that'll be coming back to us in the fall.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
any reason we can't go ahead and vote on the capital tonight since it's all presented?
I don't see a reason why not. If everybody, well, we'll find out.
Brandon?
Sorry, I'm,
So this is Article 9.
Nine,
Or 10, it's 10. 9 is the appropriation,
10,
10 and 10 is
10,
the
yeah.
plan.
All right. Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to vote on Article 10, fiscal year 27 capital plan. Do I have to read
Yeah,
You're
each
supposed to,
line.
the
yeah,
totals.
where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Just, you can read the totals.
Yeah, totals for each source.
Right.
The source.
For $929,261 from total capital improvement stabilization, $690,500 from total ambulance reserve, $43,000 from total water retained earnings, and $30,000 from total sewer retained earnings.
Second?
Have a motion and a second.
Where's, do we have a total?
Who is this?
Yeah, we should add that.
1.692.
I think the second one, Paul.
Paul.
Thank you. 1.6.
1.692.
Oh, there it is.
Have a motion and a second. Let's see, Steve. Any further discussion? Zach?
Yes. Mark, I think we're missing, we appropriated some funds for the study on the common.
It's a warrant.
Separate warrant article.
That's a separate article.
Okay, we voted on it, capital.
Yeah, he did the same,
I
he
thought it
did the
was
same.
on
I thought the same thing earlier.
Yeah, okay. Then I'm good.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further
Fa-
discussion?
Facebook, there's no missing funds.
Can we hold on one second?
Seconds up.
The number I get's different. Number I get's $1,619,834 from these four totals, adding them up. And the number on here is 1,692,761.
What total do you get, Bonnie?
So I'll,
1,619,834.
I did not get
No,
that.
I didn't get that either.
I got,
That's right.
I got 1,692,761.
That's what's there,
I
so
got
I
that.
just did it twice and did it wrong twice, apparently. Sorry about that.
Okay. Motion, second. Any further discussion? No. Paul is really pushing me with a taser here.
Oh, God.
If you don't hurry up, fine.
That's for those extra tasers, right?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous.
6, 7, 8, 9.
That was fun.
9 to 0. Okay, what's next?
Warrant articles.
So we're on number 16, West Main Sewer.
Yep. So number 16 on the warrant articles, to fund the water and sewer mains and infrastructure West Main Sewer Expansion Project. So one of the tasks I was given immediately was to figure out how we're gonna get sewer down the rest of West Main. I'm looking for $60,000 to do a study. I know people say study, what does that mean? But it's not cut and dry. We want to get we're calling it phase 2 because you've already done phase 1. We want to bring sewer from its current state, which is right near the high school or
Housing Authority.
Housing Authority, and bring it all the way down to south and northwest of the Salmonese School. Past the middle school, so we need to get the middle school on sewer, but we want to go all the way to Salmonese and get them off septic as well, and of course hit all the industries along the way. It's not cut and dry that it can be a gravity sewer, so free flowing from Salmonese all the way down to where it is right now. As a matter of fact, it's known that it can't be. So this study is going to show us what the best way to do that, whether it be a pressure system, whether it be gravity partial, going the other way partial. That's what the $60,000 is going to show us. And it's also going to give us some insight into grant opportunities to help pay for construction. So what I expect, or what I'd like to see, is the study completed by the fall and come back to you in the fall with a design amount for that. And this money would come out of sewer retained earnings.
So the ask is
$60,000 for the study,
To come out of retained earnings.
correct.
So 60,000 just to study.
How we're gonna
What's
do
gonna
it.
be needed to get from point A to point
Yep.
B and everything in between.
Correct, I know there was some issues in the last phase, we wanna make sure that those issues don't happen. That's what the 60,000 is to get
So is that, I mean, the issues in the last phase were just the construction of it, because they kept hitting ledge they
Yep.
didn't expect. Is this study to study that, or?
that would come into the design phase, but yes, as you know, there's a line that goes now from Salmonese down a 4-inch line, so we're looking to maybe put it in the same place that exists now. Stay tuned, but yes.
Okay, because I was such a fan over those
Can you reline that and use that for
3
personnel?
years.
It's not big enough. It's not big enough. It's only 4-inch. So yes, you could probably hit the Salmonese school, but that's about it.
Okay, any further discussion?
So why, my question is, you're going that far, and I obviously, from previous meetings, I have concerns about doing things, this type of work without benefits.
Understood.
And what that would mean to the ratepayers that are currently paying. But with that being said, why wouldn't you, again, we're doing this kind of piecemeal, why wouldn't you do the study all the way to the Attleboro line? I mean, it's all businesses along there.
That's gonna be in the next phase. I mean, my own best answer to that is, it's imperative that we get sewer down to the middle school. As you know, there's a failed septic system there that they're on borrowed time with.
So is part of the study, is the pipe gonna be large enough to accommodate flow all the way to the Attleboro line?
Absolutely.
When phase, whatever it is, 3, 4, 5? comes in?
Absolutely. That'll come into the design phase, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something we're focusing on. We don't wanna just be responsive to what developers want. We want developers to be responsive to what the town wants.
And that study will incorporate bringing north, and you noticed I said north and south Worcester, because I'd like to see it extended up both ways there. So that design will be to handle potential build-outs in the future.
Mr. Chair, can I just?
Gavin?
Just a small comment on what the town manager just said, because I think that was a really, a good point. I think with the housing situation in the state, what have you, development is likely coming either way. And, I think when you are intentional about where you want that development to be and prepare for it, you can end up with a much nicer town than if it just comes and a 40B is in some unwalkable neighborhood or whatever happens if you fight it the whole time. And I know folks don't wanna hear that, but I think the economic situation, I mean, private land can be built on, like we have zoning bylaws, folks are able to build, one way or another. So development is coming, and I think being thoughtful about where we want it is really a smart thing to do. And I think right in the center of town is a great place to be thinking about that. That's all I wanted to say, thank you.
I'll just add, if you let them put force mains everywhere, then there's gonna be double the amount, triple, quadruple the amount of pump stations than if you plan it out and then have them do it according to the plan. But, yeah.
And hopefully the pump stations will have standby generators, unlike down over in the county where they opted to go the cheaper route with the promise that they were gonna do that, and then they didn't, so the fire department has a nightmare every time there's a long-term power outage.
Correct.
Trying to help them out.
Any further discussion? Brandon could make a motion if he wants to.
I was waiting to see.
The moment is yours.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to vote on Article 11.
16.
16. 11 plus
I am
5.
sorry. There we go. Article 16,
Down, guys.
the West Main Sewer Expansion Study for $60,000 to be taken from sewer retained earnings.
So again,
I have a motion from Brandon, second from Paul. Did that help?
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. That's unanimous.
On to number 17, which is a water and sewer mains and infrastructure project for the Mansfield interconnection. You know, this comes with, you know, the water quality issues that we have in town, the need to make sure that we have a viable source should we need it. Mansfield is got a project going on now to increase the size of their interconnect on their side. We have the need to increase ours from a 6 to an 8 inch, along with putting in a meter and valves, so that we can, you know, each kind of valve when we want the other town to use our water, along with the meter to charge accordingly. So this is not a study, this is for the design of the replacement of the interconnect that exists right now and the installation of a meter pit and valve for that extension.
is that on 140 at the power line?
Yes,
So do we have already
the Mansfield line.
The,
Mansfield line, right? That's not 140.
Mansfield.
Yes, 140, yes, yes.
And
I'm sorry.
do you already have the right to the pit area, or do we have to take some of that out of the main?
No, we're gonna design it accordingly. Yeah.
Where is this? Like near the gas station and the Great Woods?
I've only been in this town for
It's
15
pulled
weeks.
up-
pull it up on the
It's this
computer.
side of the gas station, it's right at the town line.
Where the or the one new building is?
Across the street from it.
In the street is where our line is.
Okay, okay.
The line is technically in somebody's yard.
Do you want a Google map, Bill?
Me too.
I know it close enough.
And this is in coordination with Mansfield, who's doing a water main project on their side. So when they're finished their water main project, then the connection will be stronger, help both towns in case of emergencies. And they already treated all their PFAS, so.
That was gonna be my next question.
We don't want PFAS.
So, when there's an emergency, do we test the other suppliers'
Not for-
quality, or we're just like,
Well, they have regulatory compliance as we do, so there's no need to. Is there a flushing that takes place? Absolutely, because the lines are
Yep.
stagnant, but there's no need for us to test them for PFAS. It's a regulatory compliant issue that's already known. We can go online and get their results.
and they're compliant at this point?
I can't speak for
They
Mansfield, but I know they spent a ton of money
$50 million, they
for-
better be
for
compliant.
PFAS.
50 million on PFAS.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
And they
they're on
only
their
did
third, they're on their third PFAS treatment facility being built, so.
And the 200,000 in, that's the design and the construction, that's soup to nuts?
No, that's the design.
That's just the design?
Design.
Good God. We're in the wrong business. I said that all the time.
That and tasers.
That's the design.
You're right.
Yep.
It's monopoly.
I was just going to say that.
So in the design process, that's when you get the estimate for the construction.
Can you ballpark ideas what that one?
Not tonight, I
But
couldn't.
that would come right out of there, you can't go into the wall.
I would leave that up to the financial people to figure out whether you want to bond for it or not. We're not talking in the tens of millions, we're talking probably $1 million or $2 million.
Just for the intervention?
It's not that simple. It's not a 5-foot piece. It's a, don't quote me please, but like a 100-foot line that we're moving from 6-inch, converting from 6-inch to 8-inch.
And you saw what happened to Attleboro with their valve and their connection. We don't want to repeat that.
We have interconnections with Mansfield and Attleboro, correct? Anybody else? Not Easton,
No.
not
Not
Taunton?
Taunton?
No.
No more talking
That's a whole nother story for another night.
Surface water, yeah.
We've talked about that a little bit, Zach.
So when are you thinking of the construction phase, 28?
When do I think we could construct?
Yeah,
Oh, if we can get the design done by the end of this year, we can go out to bid the beginning of next year. They're not gonna be done for 2 years, so we'll want that construction to kind of coincide with them.
And how much disruption is that gonna cause on 140?
There's gonna be some, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. How much of that, that'll come out in the design phase. When you do this type of project, they gotta do a traffic study and figure that all out.
Because I'm assuming at least one side is gonna be not drivable.
I would imagine during the project, yep.
Yeah, and that's a heavy traffic.
don't book
Especially
any,
in the summer.
don't book any concerts next year.
But the answer's not to do nothing. I mean, it's
No,
gotta
no,
it's
no,
gotta get done. Like, there's gonna be an inconvenience, obviously.
I get
That's what
that.
this summer.
I will definitely work to minimize it, and I'm
Comcast is in
I'm pretty good at that. I did a lot of construction overseeing in New Bedford and,
So we're gonna have to widen Reservoir Street and put in street lights and,
no, this is just to replace.
that's gonna be the bypass. So,
You heard it first here.
it's gonna be the bypass. Everybody's gonna go, I'm not doing 140 down Reservoir. So,
Or the other exit.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Brandon,
I'd like to make a motion.
which number?
Article 22. I'm kidding.
17.
I'm kidding. 17.
Oh my God. Can't do this
For
past 9
Article 17, for the Mansfield interconnection design, for $200,000 from water retained earnings.
Second.
Motion from Brandon, second from Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Abstain? Opposed? That's unanimous. I suppose we should have asked this ahead of time. When's the select board voting on this stuff?
Tomorrow, probably.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
It's in the next one.
Oh, 216, I'm sorry. All right, I'm good. Next article is, Article 18 is to fund water and sewer main infrastructure improvements. You can see off to the right there that there's a request for $216,000 out of water and $30,000 out of sewer. We kind of lumped it all in together. The water replacements is to continue our program of replacing water meters throughout the city that are being estimated. Last count, there's at least 700 that are still estimated because the meters aren't reading right, because they haven't been replaced in a long time. That 200,000 is earmarked to replace about another 400 next year. You ask why not replace them all at once? Because we don't have the bandwidth to do so. And it's also for some water treatment improvements of the carbon system, some cleaning of wells that are needed. I talked at the CIP request meeting. I'm looking to get the infrastructure system on a base, to get everything up to where it's supposed to be, and then annually, some of these increases will be in the budget rather than be a capital request or a warrant article. The 30,000 for sewer stations, you have 3 stations, don't quote me, but there's 19 stations in town, 20-something stations in town, which was Mark was saying to, when you don't, I digress. We have 3 wastewater pumping stations that need to be updated control-wise. They need to have level controllers replaced and, the on and off pump sequence of the pumps replaced. They've been kind of doing one at a time here and there. I want to get the last 3 done, completed, and out of the way. So that's what that $30,000 is for.
And the water meter replacement.
These are residential water meters and commercial industrial water meters.
So how, I don't know how to word this question. How off or accurate has it gone from whatever you would have had prior to replacement to what you got replaced? Is it relatively?
Well, it depends, and I know that's,
okay?
I know what you're getting at, it's a difficult question to answer because it depends what's wrong with the meter. In some cases, when you remove a meter, you can have them sent out and you can actually tell, even though you haven't been able to read it, you can actually tell how much water was used. In some cases, the meter's beyond that. I can tell you that, again, being from New Bedford and being thousands of meters replaced, it all washes out in the end. And I know that's a weird question, but one might be up, one might be down. It's to get accuracy moving forward. That's the reason why we replace them. So right now, those meters are being estimated, and they're being estimated off of 2 years' worth of water usage.
So if I have a history of having my meter estimate be, $100 a quarter, you come in, replace it, and it's $1,000. Do I have recourse here? No.
Recourse to what? What do you
You
mean?
should have been paid more.
I mean, you bought
Well,
that gift.
This is one of those laws that it's your responsibility to make sure your meter's accurate,
How
not
would I
the
know
water
that?
department's.
How would I know that?
It should say estimated or actual
It
read
does
on
say
the,
estimated.
on the bill.
It does,
It
that's not
does.
my
If you
question.
go home, look at your bill, and you'll
But-
see
but-
if you're
but
estimated or
For
not.
it to go from, pennies to $1,000, if we're all trying to run on a budget, whether it be.
You got free water for a long time.
Over time, they're not reading all the water.
Is there a payment plan if that
Yes.
comes up to someone?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. What you're saying, I don't think we're on the same page. What I'm saying is that you could be paying $100 every month because I estimated it. Then I put in a new reading and come to find out you're really using $200 worth. I don't go back to you and say, you owe me $100 for the past 3 years.
No, I get that.
However, if we were to pay to have the meter checked, and it was to find out that you actually used that water, and I can prove that, then yes, you would be on the hook for the $1,000, and I'd work out a payment plan for that $1,000.
Okay.
Because you used the water.
So if you don't think your water bill's right, you can ask to get it checked.
Anytime.
And they'll do a meter check. But if it's, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's correct, then you have to pay the meter check fee.
Correct.
If it's not correct, we'll eat it.
What's that fee?
A couple $100.
200, yeah, $200.
You send it out to a third party and they analyze it.
Okay. Zach?
And it happens all the time.
They just replaced mine
Mine too.
a couple of weeks ago, so I'll report back at the fall session on how my water bill's going.
I can tell you mine personally at home, I was paying $75 a month, now I'm paying $100 a month.
Said mine replaced too.
If you see a well going into my house, you know you can go to it.
No, you
And
didn't.
that was before I left employment there, that wasn't something they did after.
Okay.
I mean, we want accurate readings, we want it for financial reasons, we wanna get what we're supposed to get, and we wanna make
Right.
sure you're paying for what you're paying.
No,
It's
not
not an
arguing that.
uncommon thing, technology changes, we need to move with the technology.
Okay.
And so now we have to drive by each house?
Which we still will be, but the technology that we use in the new meters, at one point, will be able to read automatically, but we're not even close to that.
So does the homeowner get the option to, get an app that says Norton water bill?
We will get to that point,
That's-
yes.
Really?
You can get there.
In the next
And
2
it'll
years,
show you your consumption by hour.
In the next
You
2
can tell
years.
when you
Tell your
shower.
kid to get out of the
and-
shower.
in the next 2 years, we'll be there.
Wow. Okay.
My brother lives in Bridgewater and they have that system. He'll be watering his flowers in the summertime and he'll get an alert on his phone, we think you have a leak. You've consumed X amount of water in the last 24 hours.
Yep.
No, it's probably your outdoor watering, there's a water ban, we're gonna fine you $500.
Yes, yes.
That too.
Now, they won't find me, they wanna sell water.
I don't know.
Well, it depends.
Can we do both?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Brandon?
I would like to make a motion to vote on Article 18 for water and sewer meters and tanks for $216,000 from water retained earnings and $30,000 from sewer retained earnings.
Got a motion from Brandon, second from Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? Opposed? That's unanimous.
The next one that I have on my docket is number 24, the reconstruction and of intersection of Route 140, Mansfield and Taunton Ave. Route 123, as you know, we're looking to reconstruct that. We held some informational meetings in the past. It's gone to traffic. We're looking to move this into the next phase, which is bringing design to 25%. I repeat, to bring design to 25%. And the cost of bringing design to 25%, getting us on a TIP project with Mass DOT, doing all that paperwork, the cost is $140,000. I'm asking for $40,000 in capital improvement funds.
We're rolling the dice. We think we can get a grant for the 100,000. We're in close coordination with our state and federal partners, and we believe this one's gonna go through. If not, you'll see us back in the fall.
So for now, I'm only asking for 40,000 of the 140.
Isn't Steve Howitt in charge of the whole state highway system or something?
It's an election
He's
year.
chair, yeah.
It's an election
He's
year.
chair of that.
Call
so-
your representative and tell him to support our project.
And this is
Sophia
for
only
a
represents
rotary?
60%.
Nope,
This is the center of town.
this is the center of
Are they
town.
gonna do a roundabout? Are they
Yeah.
gonna do a?
So that's gonna be voted on that.
They're not gonna do the flyover to go.
That's gonna be voted on at the select board in town meeting.
That's
Um,
gonna be the article that takes all night.
I'm
Yep,
sure.
Yeah.
What I
No,
can
the
tell,
roof- the roof.
what I can tell you is that it looks
I'll
like
take
it's
that
leaning
back.
towards
I bet.
a new
I bet
road,
the roof
Taunton
doesn't
Ave,
belong
directly
to
between the
people who wanna
church
keep the
and
town common. I'm
that
not kidding.
site right now that's being redeveloped.
If they vote for the
So we'd have to
county,
take one property.
Two properties.
It's like planned.
Two houses.
It's not the smart.
Two houses,
One.
like
That's
across,
Wheaton
That's what
House.
we're
It's a Wheaton house and another
what
one.
everybody
yeah, across from the
wanted
post
at
office.
Yeah.
Does the state
I'll
pay
make
for
it.
it?
There's a door.
That's again,
Church becomes a parking lot.
an iffy, but it looks like, yes, they will pay for that because it's a state road.
Would make more sense.
Yeah.
And,
Doesn't mean it will take 2 hours.
well, maybe that's not for here, right?
So, again, and I understand everybody's had a long night. This is just for 25% design. This doesn't seal us into saying we're gonna construct. This gets us on a TIP project. We're hoping that this will become a transportation project and MassDOT will pay for the entire construction. In which case, we'll be on the hook for just design of the entire project, which will be more than the 140 I'm requesting, but far less than the 10 million that this project's estimated to cost.
And straightening the road-ish is supposed to make it smoother.
It's gonna be a four-way traffic stop, correct?
Well, it is a four-way currently, it's just.
No, it's not, it's a jagged.
I understand that, but it's.
It's
still-
not a four-way stop,
Kinda
it's
like
a jagged.
driveways.
You can get stuck in the
Sideways.
middle,
There's actually 2 lights in the middle, yeah.
There's socks.
and then you feel
Wow.
very embarrassed.
It's not a four-way.
You make the first
There's a
light.
light there.
They call it,
You didn't floor it fast
in the
enough.
middle.
Turn.
So it technically,
what this project is doing,
You gotta run.
what this project is doing is, and it's shown to improve, traffic weights, traffic slowdowns, but it's also, bringing everything to ADA compliance. It's also bringing pedestrian safety into the forefront, as well as bicycle lanes, which MassDOT requires.
bicycles, okay.
Sorry.
We'll talk about that anytime. That's a MassDOT requirement.
They're scared. They're not stupid, but they're scared.
Invite me to the conversation, cause I'll talk about bike lanes all night.
Okay.
Okay, let's not do that.
But not tonight.
I'm gonna be
The ones
sick
that
for
go
that
like
meeting.
3 telephone poles and then stop?
So, yeah.
So, sorry, Mr. Chair. So, I'm sorry, I'm tired. This article is to just, for us to recommend or not recommend this $40,000 from capital for design. We are not voting on the design right now.
Mr. Chair,
Have at it.
I would like to make a motion to vote on Article 24, the Route 140 Mansfield Ave, Taunton Ave, and Route 123 East and West Main Street intersection design by taking $40,000 from the Capital Improvement Stabilization Fund.
Second.
A motion, Brandon, second, Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That's unanimous.
The next one, Mr. Chair, is a request to resolve a drainage issue along another troubled area, South Worcester Street, in front of, at 44 South Worcester Street. The topography is, there's about 10 houses on either side, and they drain the stormwater to one catch basin. It's been a perennial problem. They went in the past, got an easement over private property, and we're gonna watch a video in a little bit. With the chair's indulgence, all the water goes into one gentleman's house who's sitting here today. And they actually created a retention, you'll hear from Justin, whatever I mess up, a retention basin in the gentleman's front yard. And it's taken like 70–80% of the water, but sometimes it still overflows. They created 500 additional gallons in addition to the 500 gallons in the catch basin, the 500 gallons in the street, and it just keeps overflowing a river into his basement.
Does it ultimately go to the golf course, one of the ponds?
So that's the plan. is
That's
to-
the plan.
Would be to pipe it through the backyard to the golf course. We need to get an easement from them. And I believe that's what we did to the other side of the house. There is a pipe going to the golf course. So that's what we'd be asking for here. I understand we've done a lot, and I think our DPW director can speak to that. And with the chair's indulgence, the gentleman also would like to say a few words.
So this is 100,000 just for the design?
No, this is for construction, design, construction, everything.
Okay.
I was asked to get a price on doing that, and that's what we did. We went out and got a quote on what it would cost. I know that Jared, our highway superintendent, has been heavily involved in this. I was brought to their attention a year and a half, 2 years?
2019.
2019? When did the detention pond go in?
24, March of 24.
So in March of 2024, under the town manager, we were asked to go there, come up with a plan. An easement was given by the homeowners to the town. A detention pond was built. From our standpoint, we think that captures 80% of the water that does flow there. There's another 10 to 20% on a 5 to 10 year storm that I know, I'm told overfills that detention pond and heads towards the house. Jared has come up with another plan, and I think he had spoke to the homeowners at that time. There's some berming we can do on the retention pond to raise that up, and we can also dig a culvert towards that property in the back, what you're calling the golf course, to force the water that way. And again, I'm not here to say whether this project is right or wrong. I'm just here to tell you what I know of the project, and let you guys decide for yourselves.
And would you be keeping the retention pond, or are we trying to kind of do away?
I think the homeowners would like to see the retention pond go away, but I don't think that's a viable option. And it's on a now easement of town land.
So we own the hole in their front yard.
Yeah, but it's still someone's front yard. So-
No, it's a town easement.
Well, I get
It's
that.
still their
but it's-
property,
It's
though.
still someone's, they're looking at a retention pond where most people don't. So, that's why I'm kinda asking if, after you do all this, is there still a need for that? But, I digress.
I think the other one goes right from the street directly to the golf course.
The other one's on the other side of their house, and it's piped,
Right to the pond, right?
I'm sorry, what was
I believe, I
Can we
believe
move-
the other
should we move
side
up?
Yeah, come on.
goes
This feels
from the-
weird.
from
You've
the
waited
street
a long time.
Right to the pond and the golf course.
So,
I wish I
on the
would've
street,
known that.
there's, right on my property line, there's 2 storm drains, one on each side of the road. It actually goes to the one on my side of the road, under the road to the opposite side of the road, comes down, follows South Worcester Street, and then comes down my driveway, under my shed, and out to the golf course. And in 2019, they came and put a manhole in my driveway to try and clear that drain, which didn't work
So that
also.
was actually having a plug problem, not long run.
I don't think it's a plug problem, I think it's a water problem and a small pipe problem.
Mr. Chair,
Zach?
so let's make this easy. We caused flooding to this folks' property.
I'd like to
Yes
show
or
you
no?
I'd like to show you the video.
There was flooding before, and then the fix made it exponentially worse.
Well, it made it more frequent. The fix made it more frequent now.
the detention pond made it more frequent?
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Yes, because before the water, or the road held the majority of the water, right? The retention pond was tied into the road underneath. So now before the road even fills up, the retention pond gets all the water first.
And you'll see it fills up in about 5 minutes.
That's 2019.
That's our front yard.
That was before the retention pond?
Yep.
Mhm.
Wow.
And there's a video of you can see the road is flooded where the cars are driving by. So it's holding,
And that's to the left of your house?
If you're looking
that's
at.
out my front door to the right.
To,
Right,
no, if
the
you're,
driveway side?
No, to the
Opposite-
left,
the
as
other
you're looking at
side.
your
if
house,
you're
right?
standing on the sidewalk, looking at our house, it's on the left.
Left.
Yeah.
Do you have something after the
So,
So the-
yeah,
pond?
so like we've sent
There's a
multiple.
lot of videos.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to, that's not all of them, but they really captured.
So that one right there would be a good one.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's this is not time lapse. It's
So this
it's a
is-
5-minute video.
That's the
You can
trench.
sorry about the sound. You can mute that. You could drag
Jump
it.
ahead.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could drag
see,
it
that's
to
the-
3 minutes or
That's
whatever.
the retaining pond.
That's the
not front
retention
yard.
pond. This is all of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can keep going.
And then,
So this gives me very little time to get to the basement, and now the whole thing floods the backyard.
so it goes in the backyard, runs down our front foundation into our basement door.
8 inches up the basement door is underwater.
We had to install a water alarm, so when this happens in the middle of the night, the alarm goes off, we jump up with a wetback.
I gotta dump it into
When we're on
the washer.
vacation, my 78-year-old father has to come to the house.
Sump pump?
No, it's not a sump pump issue. It just comes in the door.
It like
not a French drain.
blows in the door.
It's not a French drain issue. I have no leaks in my foundation anywhere.
So there is no doubt in my mind that stormwater overflows and comes into the house. And I'm not here to point fingers and say what's right and what's wrong. The concerns I have is, number one, we have to get an easement from that golf course. So you're at, and I'm
It's
not
already-
saying I'm not saying you're asking, I'm just saying, the ask would be to hopefully get $100,000 to try and fix this, but then the golf course is gonna approve us putting a line in their golf course to the retention pond. So they have to allow us to dump our water into the retention pond.
So
Line that goes in now,
the-
is it not big enough?
It's on the other side, it's not, no, it's not the way the system's
So
work.
what's plan B if they don't?
Yeah, that's what we were told.
So
if
that
this
that
didn't
line
work.
goes directly to the golf course. The one that goes down my driveway goes directly into the golf course retention pond.
On the other side, I know it does,
Yeah, all the way.
Yep, that doesn't mean the golf course is gonna allow us to do this.
No.
So is there a plan B if they don't?
So there was a phase 2 at some point back in time that if the retention pond didn't work, we were supposed to move on to phase 2. But I was also told that there's a wooded area where
Back behind the other house.
in between the houses where John said if it could make it to there, it was enough to filter it to before it gets out to the golf course.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily have to tie in all the way to the golf course, but it just bypasses my property because you know, am I on the hook to clean that trench out? Because I just got a big trash hole in my front yard now from the road.
The phase 2 plan was to go to that wooded area?
The phase 2 plan actually.
Jared's phase, I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It shows the trench that's there, but then it shows a tie-in that goes all the way to the back of the property line. I can't remember if that was a surface drain or if it was a pipe that was piped in.
So
But it
Jared's-
disappeared because it was on some type
Jared's
of
phase
Google.
2, and again, I'm not making judgment on you. I only know what I know from what I've been told. That when the retention pond went in, and John from Conservation was there as well, they let you know that you're gonna need to bring up your property a little bit above that retention pond. But there's also a phase 2. The phase 2 approach was for us to berm that, to bring the retention pond up a little higher, and for us to swale it towards the back of those woods. That would be our phase 2. Putting a pipe and doing away with the detention pond was like last ditch effort, like if all else fails.
So,
I mean, but it still is the.
we have 114 emails with 1,000 conversations going back and forth with this, because there was a lot of things that were communicated that kind of have seemed to have changed a little bit, but again, it was put in, and, you know, June 7th, we emailed Jared to say the plan didn't work, it's still flooding, and June 9th he responded, sorry, it didn't work, we'll move forward with phase 2 of the plan, and that was June 9th, 2025, and then that was it. But we also, like, because they tied the street into it, now we have all the trash, all the chemicals, everything running into our backyard, into my garden. I had a video and he couldn't find it, and I wish he could have found it, where I actually went out in bare feet because I was so upset and filmed. It's up to my ankles. Filmed it.
The phase 2 then would be raising up the property between the house and the pond, so that the pond now will drain further into the natural environment, and that'll keep the water out of your house and all
But
that
how-
as well.
I mean,
Is that the better first try, especially if we can't start dealing with the golf course and having to do that? Because it's different ownership now than it was with Tim Terry and eons ago when we got to put the other one in, you know, so,
But how, I just don't know how that would look and work.
I have some ideas that I don't know that is prudent to discuss here in front of the finance committee, but I have cosmetic ideas that putting abrevieties around that detention pond, because I understand it's not the greatest thing to look at, but when you put in plants, you're also absorbing some of that water, you're helping that water retention. And to have Jared go there, and it's easier for us to maintain a swale than it is for us to put a pipe in the ground and then maintain that.
so I definitely feel that they need to have some kind of mitigation to make this right.
I agree 100%.
So I don't know whether, do we approve the 100,000 and let it get worked out as the, and hopefully come to a good ending point, which will take care of the
yeah, I mean,
homeowners?
Actually, can I ask, what do the homeowners would like to see done? What would you guys like to see done?
So here's, I'm also a good neighbor, and Jeff Burton, who owns South Shore Millworks, is my neighbor. He was never, I'll take the blame for not informing him, but somebody should have informed him that trench was going in, and nobody did. And he showed up knocking on my door, not appreciating the fact that that trench got put
How
in.
far from the property line?
It is on it.
So he should have
So-
notified.
It is on it. Like I kindly mow around on his
But
side.
he said he's tried those trenches in his businesses and they don't work.
They fail over
fail.
time. It's just a matter of
That's
time.
why he was like, I wish you would come to me, because I could have said, if this is their plan A, don't agree to it. And we were so desperate, because we finally, like, it took us that many years.
8 years.
We finally got a meeting with the town manager after a lot of people calling. He met with us, we begged him to come out, look at the property, look at what we're dealing with. Showed him the videos, he started posting them online. And then they hired an engineer to come out and come up with some plans. And
We had to get a
as soon-
lawyer. We
when
had
they
to give up.
presented the plans,
Excuse me.
like, we both had concerns. We were like, I don't know how this trench, 4 feet deep or however feet, is gonna hold as much water as we get.
I did
because
tell them that it
Because
wasn't
the
going to.
street, again, what you were describing is sloped like this, right in front of this to the right of our house. Everything tries to go there and it just overflows. But we were so desperate.
I will say it's not much different than the other area in town that
Barrow Street.
that Barrow Street where we're working frantically to replace.
Girls Court.
Yeah. So
Thank
we-
you, Peter.
We,
So you guys are
We-
opposite from Union Street in there, is that what it is? This,
We-
away from the Charlie Country Store by 3 buildings.
Right,
yeah.
and we were told, the manager
One
told
of
us
the-
to, you know, talk to an attorney, and we did, and we gave up the easement. We gave the town that part of our land, our yard, and
In the hopes that,
they built this, I don't, like, at this point, the way it looks does not concern me, the flooding, and like our house is what concerns me.
we were willing to deal with that if it worked, but it's not working.
So as homeowners with a new DPW director who has some ideas to try to work with you,
Not just to shed the water, but also to cosmetically make it look something that,
I mean,
No,
why
I get
not?
it.
do we,
Like, I
do we
get
go
it.
forward, Justin, with this article for the 100,000, and then if it can, at that worst case, hopefully we can just make it go away to the golf course, but if not, maybe we can do something.
We could at least ask them. I don't even think we've asked the golf
oh, we
course
have,
yet.
we've called them and they haven't returned the calls.
So can I jump in?
I can assure you, honestly, over the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've called personally.
Sorry, can I jump in and ask, it says $100,000 for design and construction.
Correct.
So it sounds like you've had an engineer out there before.
Rim engineering
Sounds like-
is having.
For us, we had an engineer, correct?
Yeah, they measured the prop, they were on my back deck, they just measured
So
everything.
when you do the retention pond, they came in and measured the flow and the size, and they decided what the retention pond would look like.
No,
So-
this was before the choice to do the retention pond. I think that happened within highway department
Yes,
to decide
we had
the
an
retention pond.
engineer.
But the engineer just came out to survey the
ideas.
property, and then I think you guys decided the retention pond was the way to go, and maybe if it wasn't tied into the street, it might have bought us more time, because the
It
road
still
would have held more
floods.
water, but
It would,
we get all the water, and it doesn't even have to be a storm anymore, it's just regular rain
So
fills
is
up
it
there.
drained from the
Can I
catch
ask
basin?
a question?
Sandy's not
Can I ask a
finished.
question? I
It's
just
tied
haven't
into
had a
the-
question yet.
Oh, that's, I'm so sorry.
Can I just, point
Trying
of
to get
order,
questions.
can I speak up? Can we have everyone direct the chair?
Yeah.
Try,
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how this works, so.
Yeah.
So, my question is that if we, can we pay an engineer, right, as part of this $100,000, a new engineer, not the one, if he was the one who made recommendations, let's not go to that one again, to come up with a plan, rather than us sitting and speculating what the solution is gonna be. Is part of that money going to be used to pay for a professional to come in and evaluate the situation and hopefully come up with a better plan than what has been come up with up to this point? Is that part of the $100,000?
Yeah,
The plan?
like there's really only a couple of options, so I'm trying to answer your question correctly. We would need an engineer to design the size pipe that we would run to the retention pond and the golf course. So we need that done, but ultimately, I'd be asking them to design. I was asked to get a quote to design, to take a pipe from there to the golf course, and design and construction was $100,000. What you're saying is like ask an engineer to come in, check out the area, maybe pay them $20,000 for them to say, run a pipe from here to there.
Well,
That-
it seems
it-
like if we've been trying things and not having them be successful up to this point,
Yeah.
that it'd be worth the money to pay.
So
someone
I
to
guess,
come in and
I guess
say,
my answer
"What's
to
the
you
best
is
solution?"
yes. My answer to you is yes. That $100,000 incorporates an engineer telling us this is the best way to do this.
And not just,
I think this will work.
not just to agree with, you should just do a pipe from here to here. It's to actually look at the issue and say, nah, that pipe's not gonna work either, this is what you need to do. That type of stuff.
They're at the dead end of a stormwater system. I mean, I get it, yeah. I'm saying yes.
So it may be something more drastic, like, hey, you need more storm, catch basins all the way up your two hills and draining out.
But that's gotta go yes.
And draining out somewhere else and not going to the bottom of the, you know, that's what they could come up with, which will be way more than 100 at the end of the day.
Right, but I think it's worth it to pay an
No,
expert to come in and to do this right this time.
Right,
instead of screw
instead of
around and try.
continuing
Right.
to go, let's try this,
Yes.
nah, that didn't work, let's
Yeah.
try that, nah, that didn't work.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
so the homeowners are making a comment here, if you read between the lines, that it sounds like the catch basins are draining from the bottom straight in rather than from the tops, and you're losing the catch basin capacities from the street is what I'm trying to.
That's what's
part of it.
happening.
Is there a way to relocate so it comes off the top, so the catch basins actually fill?
Oh, it does. It does come off the top of the catch basin.
So
It does,
bef-
okay.
The catch basin, the pipe, it's not at the bottom of the catch basin.
I just
It's
hate,
about 2 feet,
I
it's
hate-
about 2 feet.
I hate the talk about it, because before we had the trench, like, the water, so if it was blocked off
I
and it
mean,
was
you
like.
did block
like-
it, right?
Right, like,
Yep.
if it was like that before, all that did was, it just backs up onto the street, onto my neighbor's driveway, and then drains straight into the yard. So the only thing that really changed is because it's open, the trench just fills up a lot faster and it backs up.
You fix the
into
road problem, right? You have no ponding on the road anymore, but it's all in my yard now.
It just happens a lot faster than before they built the trench,
Mr. Chair?
but
Our yard now. Brandon?
So I have two questions, I guess. Has this always been an issue?
8 years we've dealt
we
with it, we
bought,
bought
we
it
moved in
in.
2018.
So I'll be honest, I would be livid. I would be at the town hall, I would be banging on the doors, I would have grabbed the old town manager and brought him down.
Oh my
So I'm just being
Oh my
honest.
gosh.
I would be absolutely livid.
The only
So
reason
the
that didn't
fact-
happen
Maybe we'll
is
be
because
ready
of
for a
her.
motion
And,
from you.
and it,
I-
and again,
I
it's
just-
because,
We're ready.
it
I
only
just-
didn't
I'm
happen
just being
because of
honest.
me. Because my family all lives in the town still, I grew up here, and I'm like, no.
I mean, I would get a lawyer, and
We
I would
talked
be
about
going
it.
after the town to help with the basement and everything else. I don't even know if that's legally possible, but I would be livid, just my.
I mean, we've been pretty patient, I'm not gonna
We,
lie.
again, 2018, we bought the house, and in 2019, we bought it in April, and that spring and summer, we had water in our basement twice.
This is just a daylight. I can't film at night, right? So 3 o'clock in the morning, if a storm's coming, I'll be on the couch, I gotta wait up
Well,
for the storm to
we've got
pass.
a alarm.
She's gotta help me shop vac my basement and dump it in the washing machine, you know?
It's time to make it go away, Justin.
I have to.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, I'm all for it.
I have to
Welcome
screw a
to
board up against the door on the
Mr.
inside.
Vice Chair, we're ready.
There's many other
All right.
issues. Not for you guys, I
Mr. Chair,
know, I know.
Brandon?
I would like to make a motion for Article 10. 25. I'm sorry,
We're all
thank you,
here to
thank
help,
you.
Brandon.
I was kidding, no. Article 25, stormwater drainage easement. Pay $100,000 from the capital improvement stabilization to fund the stormwater and drainage easement design and construction
Second.
at 44 South Worcester Street.
Second.
Have a motion, Brandon, second by Paul. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That's unanimous.
You took till 10 o'clock.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for
All of
not
you.
staying so late.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in and just start.
well, no, thank you for saying that, because we have felt that way, but
You're trying to figure.
Should've
who
just called
people
Brandon.
were patient.
I would have done it
Brandon
for
would
you.
have been your muscle. All right, what's left?
He might have had one of those tasers, actually.
That's right, we're gonna be getting
But we need the
35.
taser. Careful, don't stand in the water. You're holding the taser.
Good luck.
Good night, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
See you at 10
Hurry up and
meeting.
get out while you can.
I appreciate you guys,
6
thanks.
PM, so should we be, it's here too?
Crane room.
Good luck. So,
Nice.
Good luck. If you guys,
We'll talk to you.
I can't do
I'll
it.
tell you what, I'll give you Crane room tomorrow.
Grab a bucket, start bailing.
It's easier to get it in.
Yeah, right.
But I will do my best.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
In the future, can we?
We do them first. Yeah.
let them go first?
Yeah,
Sure.
we should have
Sure,
done that.
sure. Sorry about
They
that.
were
I thought,
so patient.
I didn't know if they
I
were.
didn't see
After
him
8
in here at
years.
first, but yes,
Yeah.
next
What's
time
2 more
I'll.
hours after 8 years, right?
Yeah.
3.
They were very
Someone
polite
said
too.
it.
I would have been
They
like,
were so
let me go.
Well, when they first came in, anyway, yeah, they were polite tonight.
They were very good. Okay, what's next, 26?
Do we have,
That's
do we have a copy of 26?
So
We don't have.
the 26th, we should
we
probably
should wait.
put that over.
Great.
Let's get a red line copy to you in 2 weeks from today.
They're a week and a half.
27,
But it's housekeeping, really, more than anything, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
There's a ton of things in there that either talked about the sewer commission, talked about highway superintendent, water superintendent, and it's basically cleaning that up,
needs to change.
Yeah.
putting my name as the
It's
department
probably
head.
20 or 30 spots. So the last one, I suppose, for today would be another fun one, adoption of a bylaw for sidewalk maintenance.
do we have language for that?
Do we, yeah.
That should be it.
On the side, too.
Oh, well, that's this,
That's the proposed
in
law.
your packet.
And,
So again, I will start off by saying I was brought in to do what's best for the town. Norton is one of the few exceptional towns that has DPWs or DPIs shovel their sidewalks that are owned by private, that abut private residencies or private buildings. Years ago, this probably was not an issue because Norton didn't have sidewalks.
We still don't.
But every project that Norton does, they add more sidewalks. And it's become a burden on the department. Again, I know the blizzard is an exceptional year, but it took us 7 days to get sidewalks completed. That's 7 days of 2 people all day long clearing sidewalks that may or not even be walked on. However, it was brought to my attention, then why do them? Because there's a liability to the town if you don't do them. So as it stands right now, the town is responsible for keeping sidewalks clear. We have to clear them. We don't have the staff or manpower to do that. I think if you saw the amount it costs the town to clear sidewalks, you'd realize that having homeowners do their own sidewalks like most towns and cities do makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not talking about sidewalks outside of town hall or the fire department or the schools, but the sidewalks that are owned by private, that lead to these areas that are owned by private residences or private people. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
So, say the apartment building on the other side of 495,
The owners would be responsible for
the
clearing
owners
them,
of the apartment building,
like it is everywhere else in the world.
okay?
I'm not saying you're the only town, but there ain't a lot left.
And like the sidewalk that goes down here to the bike trail,
Everything that abuts town property would be our responsibility.
but everything in between and to a house, whatever their frontage is,
the
that's
granite
them.
store would have
Yep.
to do in front of their granite store.
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
Paul,
this-
wait, Paul?
oh, sorry.
Not a stupid question, but a comment as to why we're not including fire hydrants.
Fire hydrants are our asset and our responsibility. So again, in other cities and towns, we put out alert like I kind of did during the blizzard and said we would appreciate you helping us. But it's a little bit different in that it's our asset.
Well, the sidewalks are asset too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
I guess I didn't add them.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, if you're gonna go to this trouble, and it probably isn't gonna pass anyways, I'm guessing, but if it does. add fire hydrants to it, you know?
I've heard that.
It's a good idea.
I was told not to bother, but I'm insisting
Give it a
on,
try, yeah.
I'm insisting on bothering. And it's only we're talking about putting another sidewalk up on, is it Plain Street or,
Pine.
by the school, Pine Street, there's another,
But,
we just can't keep up with them.
but like Robin Circle, these subdivisions that go in, don't they take care of their own sidewalks? It's not that-
Subdivisions do if they're privately maintained.
Like an HOA.
So can I
I
get
don't know
one of
the
those,
individual ones.
Right, right.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just.
can I get one of those things for the hydrant across,
Absolutely, you
across
can.
my house that I couldn't find
Absolutely.
after the blizzard? Brandon?
I was just gonna ask, did legal review this?
It's almost identical to other cities and towns.
Okay.
And I looked at it in my legal view, I had another lawyer look at it, in her legal view, it's 100% good. And I rarely say 100%. I always say 99, but it's legal.
Plus I walk Mansfield Avenue and Freeman Street, and when, after the snow, the snow is, the sidewalk is covered with snow, so I have to walk down the road, and it's dangerous.
It is.
Paula?
Mr. Chair, I have a couple things on the language in here. So, it's saying that the owners of the sidewalk that's in front of their house would have to remove it within 12 hours of the
last
snowfall.
snowfall,
I
yeah.
feel like that doesn't even happen now. I mean, I
No,
walk
it
my
doesn't.
dog around and
It
there's.
took 10 days for
Oh,
the
yeah.
sidewalk to get
Oh, yeah,
through the
around my
sidewalk.
house too, like there was
I think that's his point.
I don't have a sidewalk on my street, but I walk around streets with my dog and run around and, yeah, it was definitely more like days, so I just
Because we
find-
only
I
have
feel
so
that-
many people that can do it.
Right, that's his point.
I
That's
know,
my
but
point. We didn't get to them for days because we don't have the
I
ability.
just feel like that's kind of a lot to
Yeah.
ask.
Again, I'm not trying to reinvent a wheel, it's kind of the norm.
Okay, and then, the exceptions here,
I'm
so,
sorry, before you go on, we're not gonna go down the street in the 13th hour and find people, it's.
that's what I was wondering, how you even police that.
What's gonna get policed is when somebody falls and tries to sue the city all the time.
Interesting. The exceptions, so, the town manager, I guess, may decide, or maybe you, to grant temporary relief, what does that mean if there's like a severe weather event? So if there's a huge blizzard or
The
something.
blizzard, you have more than 12 hours.
Oh, that's.
They won't enforce.
I won't, yeah,
They enforce
just like you would do with a
it.
parking ban, you could say, we
Okay.
know that the blizzard's coming. We're not gonna enforce this after 12 hours, we're gonna give you 48 hours.
And then for a household where, the owners of the house are not physically capable of shoveling their own sidewalk, would they be able to contact you and let you know, and then you'd keep track of those households, or?
I don't think we're ticketing anyone.
Generally speaking, what we would do is give them a list of people that have volunteered, or
Yeah.
contractors that would be willing to go do it, or,
Okay,
I think that was the intent of that. But like Mark said, my intent is not to go ticket you because you didn't shovel your driveway. or
yeah,
your
I just
pond.
worry about, like, folks who aren't physically capable.
Yeah, if there's
People
like
who are
elderly
physically
people.
capable should be
yeah.
snowing their own sidewalk, but
Yes.
just saying.
Let's go down the line here. Bonnie?
Thank you. You had mentioned that there was a cost associated with whatever, doing this and keeping up with this. I think that will be a question that people will want to weigh. So I would be ready with that number at town meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to see it now, as we're discussing.
I don't have it on me.
Okay, but you said if.
I can tell you that we shoveled or cleared sidewalks
Uh-huh.
for 7 days after the blizzard.
No, I don't doubt that, I guess it's interesting to hear if you saw the number, but then we don't have the number.
Well, I mean, just estimate how many
I didn't-
hours.
I
and
didn't say I
multiply that
saw
by
the number.
hourly
You
rate.
said if you saw the number, you would be surprised.
You would be.
So
How
7
can you
days,
say you don't know who the
two
number
guys
is?
a week for 7 days
I
is
guess I'd put it this way.
80 hours.
How
times
long
30.
did it take you to shovel your
5,000.
driveway after the storm?
They don't shovel though, they have a machine, so that's.
In
Have
some
you ever
cases-
watched that machine?
It does a great job on Freeman Street.
It's not super quick though. It's not like it goes zoom.
And it
And
doesn't
it's
go
done.
everywhere when it goes down to a driveway and back up and back down and back
Yeah,
up.
It's
It handles-
struggled
Freeman just fine.
up here.
But obviously I didn't watch it.
I-
When I said you'd
John
be
Bonner.
surprised at the numbers, I'm just to the point it was a rhetorical thing that it costs us a lot of money to shovel.
I just, when we're talking about taking a town service that's existed for as long as we've had sidewalks, including sidewalks that took people's land 20 years ago or whatever, that now suddenly they're gonna have to maintain, I'd like to see that it's worth, the juice is worth the squeeze.
I'll get you that number.
Without that number, and then also, you know, it's not just the financial aspect, it's also the quality of service that we're trading here. And if we're talking about these, we're gonna ticket this and that in the bylaw, but actually, we're not gonna ticket people, we're gonna give elderly people, rightfully so, some relief, so that they're not suddenly required to do this task. Then the sidewalks actually aren't cleared, and then they're not usable. So really what we're trading here is giving up our sidewalks for whatever this amount of money is, in my opinion. And I keep hearing we don't have that many sidewalks, but then I hear how much it costs, which seems to be in conflict. So quite frankly, I hear you on the rest of the world apparently having this article, but I just don't see how it benefits this town. As it's written. I think it just moves the inequities around, and will result in Peter walking in the road, quite frankly.
Yep, that's right, that's right.
Well,
Kids walking to school.
am I allowed to respond to that? During a snow event, we have to decide whether we keep the streets clean or the sidewalks clean.
You don't though, you keep the streets clean. The sidewalks are always the second priority, and rightfully so.
They are, that's the point I'm making, they
Yeah,
shouldn't
but
be.
that's fine, nobody's arguing that you should do the sidewalks
But
first.
Peter's not gonna be able to walk down the sidewalk because we can't get to the sidewalk.
No, what I'm saying is, so this storm, this one's maybe not a good example, but what I'm saying is that the people are not gonna clear their sidewalks. A sidewalk needs to be clear from A to B to be useful. And if 10% of the people are seniors or medically unable and they've been given relief, and now the sidewalk is not clear, people are gonna choose not to walk. They're gonna spend money on an Uber, or they're gonna spend money on a taxi, or they're not gonna go where they're gonna be, or they're gonna call into work, or they're gonna walk in the street, and they're gonna, you know, I just don't, I see a lot of issues with that, especially if we're talking about an outcome where really the work's not actually gonna get done, because we're not gonna ticket people. Again, rightfully so, I don't think, I mean, goodness, I don't want our seniors suddenly now choosing between getting ticketed by the town and having to pay money to have somebody clear the sidewalk. But if we're not gonna enforce it, then the work is not gonna get done, and now we're basically just sacrificing our sidewalks.
Yeah.
Zach?
My concern with it is, I would say, you know, and I don't know the numbers, but I'm guessing 60–70% of the sidewalks on Main Street, in this town. And if you walk anytime from 2 o'clock to probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're gonna see school kids on those sidewalks back and forth. And you can tell people they're gonna shovel the snow, but, you know, it's not gonna happen. You know, I'm in New Bedford, they tell me to shovel, I don't, where am I gonna put it? I'm just gonna push it back into the street, I don't even bother. So, I have concerns with this, the kids are gonna be walking the street over there in the afternoon with the traffic, that's there. And I think we're basing this off of once in a 10-year event of a blizzard, which was an extraordinary, we haven't seen, I don't know, since, who knows, 78 maybe.
38.
Yeah.
I have.
Is it that big of an issue on a normal winter? Well, the last 3, 4, 5, 6 winters, we've had nothing, so. I think we're making a bigger issue than it is based on one event this year. And I just think this will be another 2 hours at town meeting of people bickering, so for those reasons, I'm gonna be opposed.
Paul?
So, my son has a place in Franklin, and I very obviously noticed that certain stretches of sidewalk were done with a nice snow blower, and a good neighbor did 4 or 5 of the neighbors, and then nothing for 4 or 5 houses, and then another good neighbor did a stretch, and so I don't think it works because of that alone. And I mentioned the other night with the schools here, the whole idea of the fact that the kids really need to have those sidewalks done no matter what. So I'm kind of with Zach here that I don't think it's gonna happen. But Paula, for the record, I did my fire hydrant at least 3 times during the storm. Just
There you go.
you know?
There we go,
I
chief.
wonder why.
Everything else is the same number.
Well, it's the end.
Well, that's the last one anyway.
That's the last.
Go back,
Fantastic.
they have a
What's that?
blade that drops down in people's
Yep.
driveways.
It's the
to keep
27th
the town
or 27th.
You know how much that blade costs?
Change it.
26.
And it's still gonna go somewhere.
It's 2020. Yeah.
Is
that it?
Well, there's minutes, I think.
I wanna say skip, but that's me.
Well, we have the ones from.
Oh, I definitely wanna skip.
You're the chair, so you want me to make a motion?
I'll take how will I word this? If someone makes a motion to do the minutes, then we'll sit here and do them. Otherwise, I'd like to have a motion to call it an evening.
Mr. Chair,
Brandon,
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
second. After a motion and a second, I'm surprised no one wants to do the minutes.
I almost was gonna do it as a joke, but.
You've made enough jokes tonight, Mr. Noble.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Object?
Town meeting's getting overtime tonight, Bill.
That's right.
Have a nice vacation, everybody.
Thanks.